pocket. Cameron wants
It's time for the match of the round. Let's cross to our team.
Yes, everyone, welcome to Zerby's Reserve for another round of EFNL action today. And it's round 2 of the Premier Division season, and we're here to watch the Doncaster East Lions take on the Doncaster Sharks for the first time in almost 6 years, when they both met back in the Division 2 Grand Final a long, long time ago now. Both clubs different sides to that day then. The Lions coming off 2 premierships and a close run thing last week against Blackburn and Doncaster. At the bottom, well, struggling a little bit after their lofty standards for such a long time. I'm Matthew Fody, Media Manager of the competition. I'm joined by Gavin Casey and Tyson Popplestone. And gents, Gav, welcome back after last week, mate.
G'day, Matt. It's great to be back after welcoming Berwick into the EFNL.
How is the voice as well, mate? Of course, you ran out of gas right there in the end.
Well, I said to someone, I obviously haven't been shouting for a long time in my life, for a couple of years. So there was one time when the ball was bending towards goal, and I just went a bit excited, and Ben's eyes just popped as he turned and held his left ear, and I said, "Oh, sorry about that."
I'm sure he's missed it. And Tyson, it's been a while, mate. Been a bit going on for you as well, but you're back. You're back in front of the action today.
Oh, so glad to be back, boys. It's been, nearly 18 months since we've been back. And I remember before I left, I said, I don't think I could possibly ever sit next to a better-looking team. Well, and I've come here today and met you for the first time, and here we are. It's probably the best-looking team EFL's ever put together.
I think Tyson knows where his bread's buttered, boys. That's clever. It's nice work. Nice work. It's going to be an action-packed day out here. I think there's going to be there's going to be history made. The bookies, if we had any, would say, I guess, after Doncaster's performance last week. But we'll get onto this game later on in the show. But there will be some history made, I think, across any of the divisions this weekend, Gav and Tice. Berwick have a chance of their first win after coming so close last week. They take on Rowville. Croydon North and Chirnside Park, both on long losing streaks. Croydon North will be coming up to 18 games today. Chirnside Park's is 37 losses in a row. Fair Park will hopefully get their first win in 3rd Division, and Doncaster East and Doncaster today. Doncaster East could get their first win in Premier Division. Out of those games, guys, which one? Obviously, we're here today at what we expect to be the best game, but which one of those do you think is the most likely for a big streak to be broken?
I'd love to tell you with confidence that it's going to be Cherney Park, but I think we've been saying for a little while that we can't wait for that ice to be broken. Yeah. One of my good friends had spent a little bit of time down there, and he's been telling me for about 6 months of the last season that they played that it was about to be broken. So I've invested a lot of faith into him. I would love, for their sake and the confidence of the boys, just to be able to see that one broken. But I guess in a couple of hours' time we'll see whether that's just a pipe dream or whether that's a reality. Exactly.
It's a new local rivalry too. So we're at one today, but out there at Hughes Park, Croydon North, Mount Lewdale Old Collegians, probably searching for a local rival, and now with Chirnside on their doorstep. Hopefully it'll be a rivalry for years to come with some contests. On paper you'd suggest Chirnside, Gav, should get that one, but you never really know. When you've lost 37 games in a row, you're probably going to this game quite nervous. Yeah,
and Chirnside have been a better performing club, so they at least have some history to call upon, a bit of structure in the club, where Croydon North are growing into themselves, and I think that can hold them back until wins come. Until they actually get players in the door. It's almost like the players have to be there before you can establish a culture. It's not like you can have a culture and the players will adapt to it. It's almost like the players are going to build the culture, so they'll need to do it on field, and everything around it could come real quick.
I think it's a good chance to reset. Like we said last week, Division 4, there's probably going to be one final spot up for grabs for someone. Forest still probably the front runners to get it, but Chirnside, it's a good chance for them to reset after being stuck in a division for 2 years without really being at the level. Yeah, I think one of the most frustrating things for them as well is you go into a 2 or 3, 4 game max losing streak, you start to lose a lot of confidence, you start to question your training, you start to question the commitment of so many players around you. So I can't imagine what the headspace at Cherney Park would be like at the moment, and just how desperate those boys would be for a win, because just like a loss can breed sort of a lack of confidence, just a couple of wins and a couple of change of pace games can really just change the direction of a club.
I always think that, there's always a bit of depression when you go down, but you should actually be happy that you're going to find a level that you can compete in, and just embrace that there is a level for you. Yeah. And if you can't compete in what is effectively the 4th best division and you have to go back to the 5th division, just deal with it and come again. I think internally they probably would have hoped to do that, but the restructure meant that I think none of the clubs wanted to come up
from that bottom division, so they had to have that extra year and then a break off. So they've actually gone 3 years without winning a game, and they got not stooged. It's just a matter of the fixture, but coming down, and then they take on Coldstream, which many would argue are probably a middle of the range Division 3 side on paper. So they can't avoid it. So hopefully today they get their first win. But for Croydon North, they'd probably be licking their lips hoping to take on a side that are low in confidence, as you say, Tyson, and possibly pitch their first win in their history in the competition.
Well, it's a weird headspace going into a game like that, isn't it? Because the bets are 100% that you're going to beat this club. So there's a little bit of unspoken pressure that comes with a game like that, because you don't want to be the one that's the 37-game losing streak is broken again. So though you can go into a game like that with a bit of confidence and eyes on the prize, I think it can be very easy to let it slip if you don't go in ready to play.
Yeah, exactly.
The first 15 minutes of these games, because scoreboards are the pressure valve.
Yeah.
If you see that you're not doing what you expected to do, it's like, well, I don't know if we can do it today. And the other team goes, I don't think they can do it today.
Exactly.
And then everyone, it's just a different ball game.
Momentum's a funny thing. So, Croydon North, of course, they've added a lot of depth, but whether those players are at the level and going to boost them, it might just be getting numbers. So it's a very interesting game out there. Of course, I probably just didn't quite get the measure to get the radio game, the broadcast game, Gav. Berwick Roval, we watched Berwick last week, and I think everyone was a bit anxious to see how they go. Most people thought they'd be probably most comfortable in the division below. But on the evidence we saw last week, they're definitely in the right division. They probably should have won that game against Noble Park, given their dominance in the second half. And Roval are a young side this year, so it's a big chance for the Wickers.
Oh, definitely. I think criteria-wise, the club fits the bill as being a Premier Division club. The playing group that they brought across definitely is competitive. I just wonder if their structure is one that could make finals with them, because we saw against Noble Park that they all about the pressure around the ball, and they rush the ball inside 50, and then there's no chaos that suits them. Money wasn't on in terms of goals. Their forward line doesn't have a tall just to release some pressure by taking a mark inside 50.
Jordan Andrews did it early and then faded. Travis Tucker was probably their best forward, but he had to also be their best midfielder as well. So Money's definitely going to have to... I think he's going to struggle or find it harder this year in this competition with so many good defenders. The Noble Park had enough defenders to send a Ryan Morrison to him and not worry that someone else was going to take the game, whereas in previous competitions, Money might get the smaller defender because they want to use the one big guy on the other big guy, and he gets to use his skills. One
aspect that if you have a weakness in the Premier Division, it's great that the clubs are working out a way how they can compete. Even Noble Park, who I don't think I've seen a tackling game as effective in tackling.
Well, I can help you there with it, Gav. In terms of effective tackles, there was 89 tackles across the game between both sides, and there was 68 of them effective. So, which I was never a big tackler as a player. So, but that's a fairly high percentage of tackles. And in terms of contested ball, like Berwick absolutely dominated that stat. They had 133 contested disposals to 62.
And I think they didn't necessarily rattle Noble Park into errors, but Noble Park never got their game going where they were precision passing it. The only time they hit targets is when Berwick zoned off them and allowed to kick around the back line, but then they applied pressure and actually stole a few shots at goal from that pressure.
Another point on that, Noble Park had 54 turnovers to 25, so that's 30 turnovers. You're right. So Berwick's pressure, their pressure acts were up and tackles and contested balls. So that's definitely going to, which means it probably will suit them when they come to a ground like Zerby's, Tyson, where it's actually quite tight and contested, and it'll mean their goal-scoring midfielders like Tuck can actually hit the scoreboard, and that need for a big man might be avoided on these sort of grounds.
That's right. I think on a ground like this, I played a season down at Baldwin a few years ago now. It was the same situation down there. If there was a ground you needed to be very efficient at with your delivery up forward, it's at the small grounds, because before you know it, a couple of kicks, it's going to be back down in the back line for you, the forward line for the other team. So I think it's a really important thing to not only get the disposals, not only get the possessions, but make sure you're using that effectively.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be interesting to see how they go against the Roval side, who had the week off. New coach in Ben Wise, very young from all reports. They did defeat North Ringwood in a practice match on the 10th, so I don't know if that's anything to go by. We haven't got enough of a run at a sample size yet to know where North Ringwood sit and thus Roval. So it's a big chance for the Wickers to get their first win. Fair Park and Scoresby. Gav, Fair Park, of course, the Fairy Tale Premiership in 2019. They've struggled the first two games coming up in the division. They met Ferntree Gully and Whitehorse, two good sides. and they've conceded over 100 points both times, which will worry Sean Stanton. But Scoresby, who had a draw in the first game against Glen Waverley Hawks, got their proverbials handed to them last week by the Waverley Blues. It's a good chance for Fair Park at home to possibly pinch their first win.
Definitely. When two clubs don't have a history together, it can be a feeling out process for about 2 quarters.
Well, Scoresby would have never, obviously quite a successful club for years, they would have never played at Fair Park. So, and their ground itself is a big ground. So,
I wonder if both will just be second guessing what they have to do, and it's just going to take it on eye line.
Could be a bit of 10 minutes where it's, just play between the arcs. Although the arcs at Fair Park might be the goal square to goal square, but I know what you mean. It'd be quite like you said, both teams don't really know how to approach it. Yeah,
I think even Fair Park and got to give due consideration. They probably one of the best full forwards going around in the bottom 3 divisions. He's a big boy. When he leads and there's no one in front of him, even if there is, he'll suck the ball into his
gravitational pull.
Yeah, exactly. So not having that would have just shaken their structure a bit, because the guys
on the eve of the season too.
Yeah, the guys on the peripheral who were kicking goals and were just running with a bit of freedom, knowing that the big boy could just push some space out for them. That's not there anymore. So I just wonder if they're going to struggle without that structure that they knew of, and whether they're making adjustments on the fly as well.
Absolutely. It's an interesting one. And Tyson, from a Scoresby point of view, they're also a young side building back. They want to get back to their former glories. A draw against Glen Waverley when they should have won. A massive loss against Waverley Blues. This is another one where that pressure, where they're probably expected to win, might get to them. Yeah,
it's interesting with the young side as well, because I'm not sure if the ego gets deflated as you get a little bit older, but I know plenty of the young boys running around in any division seem to not like the idea of taking too many losses on the trot. So I'm interested to see, as you boys have spoken about, just that first 10 minutes of the game, to watch that pressure, because I can imagine there'll be plenty of enthusiasm from the young players, but it'll be interesting to see whether the skill level and the use of the ball's up to scratch. So it's going to be an interesting game and a very interesting opening quarter, I'd imagine.
Absolutely. And in terms of, Gav, you're speaking about, James Goff obviously leaving Fair Park. A big play for Whitehorse Pioneers early in the year has been Andrew Padbury, a favourite of the media team as well. Lovely young bloke, and he had such a good year in 2018. Had a year, I think he went back to, I think he might have played cricket overseas for a year and then was listed to play for Old Xavier in 2020 and so on. He's come back and kicked 2 bags of 5, but Whitehorse have actually struggled to find goal kickers outside of him. So he's another one where they're probably going to need to think, if he were to go down injured, it could change their season drastically.
Oh yeah, the one thing is the coaches know strengths and weaknesses, and if Padbury is a man that can win one-on-ones, you make room for a one-on-one. So you don't, if he's there, then you go, all right, maybe we need to stack the forward line. There's heaps of things they can do, putting more numbers around the ball if they didn't have a spearhead. There's heaps of things they can do if an injury comes. But for now, they've got a structure that suits Padbury. Get inside 50, look for him, then get around him if the ball hits the ground. That's probably what suits them at the moment.
Absolutely. Tice, obviously you haven't probably watched as much footy as you would have liked over the last few weeks, but what's your read on those lower divisions that we're talking about at the moment?
Well, just on the last point, I think it's interesting with a key forward like you're speaking of. It's though a game can be built and broken around a player like that, it's a little bit more of a rare thing to see in modern day football, like your Dunstals or your Tony Lockett kind of player who dominates.
I'm sure Andrew would love that comparison too if he's listening.
And I know Andrew, I know he would love that, and I know he would back himself to be considered next to those names. So it's going to be interesting, but I think it should build a lot of confidence in a team to have a player like that. But as you say, if you can get a couple of players coming in from the midfield, the centre half forward, that can sort of dance around with the crumbs a little more just to back up a potential loss of a player like that, it's only going to add confidence to the team. But I think they're in a good position, as long as they're not putting too much weight on the shoulders of Andrew.
Yeah, exactly. You're looking at those stats from last week there, Gav.
I was, but
exactly.
I aren't.
I meant the Whitehorse Fair Park game that you had up there on the screen. It's quite interesting looking at the way they channel their ball through him.
Yeah, well, it just makes sense.
He's not overly tall though, is he, Andrew Padbury? He's not.
No.
He's not your typical sort of 6'4", is he? He'd only just be over 6 foot. I think he's just demands the ball. He's quite strong, very strong core, beautiful kick.
I think actually Springfield Park, you have to have gears because you can.
It's surprisingly big, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you drive past, you think it's another boutique small ground in the middle of this, inner eastern part of Victoria, which is quite congregated. But then when I've umpired a couple of games out there, and we've called a couple of games there as well, it is surprisingly big, especially that wing closer to the sort of soccer pitch.
So you might have to set yourself for 2 runs at the forward line.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you get stuck, then just go, all right, have we got it? Can we go again?
Exactly.
And so, those big grounds and having open forward lines, they can actually be worse for your attacking system than helping it.
And then finally, before we go to our first break of the pre-game show, it's great to see Marcus Alessi out there running around for Doncaster, the number 28. He'd be someone who's probably got a lot of perspective, although Doncaster had a couple of big losses in the reserves and seniors last week against South Croydon, but out there in the 28 after brain cancer last year, it'd be just incredible for him appreciating the finer things in life, which is, at the moment, going down by 14 points to their rivals.
Yeah. Well, in life, I realised last year, and this is philosophical, so go with me for a second, is do you think, what do I enjoy in my life and what do I need in my life? And it might just be hanging out with your mates and kicking the footy again, and your family and other things. You just go, I don't give you enough time in my life. How do I do that? And if football is the joy that he needs, go for it, and people should get around him for it.
Yeah, and they definitely did at Doncaster. I'm sure that would have been something for them to smile on when they were coming back on the road to us off a 10-goal loss. That a good thing in the day, Marcus got to play footy again.
It's fantastic. I was spending a little bit of time reading about this last night, and just to your point, Gav, I think the perspective is such a huge thing, and I think it's noticeable in so many top athletes that when the pressure doesn't seem to get on your shoulders, it makes it so much easier to perform. And I think overcoming a life-threatening cancer, a life-threatening illness, is the perfect solution to put things in perspective. So it's no doubt it's no surprise to see him enjoying his footy so much, and I'm not going to be surprised to see him have a great season, because I think just with that pressure off his back and a little bit of pep in his step, it's the perfect recipe for a nice start to 2021.
Yeah, well, he's played a number of games for Doncaster. He's been one of their live wires. So, and you're right about that perspective thing. You do read or hear a lot about professional sportsmen saying after they actually have a child or something like that, that their sport improves tenfold because it's not the be-all and end-all for them. So, yeah, it's definitely very interesting, and it's good to see Marcus out there at the moment. As we said, Doncaster East, though, after being scoreless in last week's reserves game against Blackburn, they're up 5-3 to 2-7 over their local rivals, the Sharks. We're going to head to an early break here on the pre-game show, and on the other side of it, we're going to look at 2 key games, Norwood and Baldwin, and Surrey Park v Sylvan. Sorry there, our timing might be out there just a tiny bit. Trying to go there, contact the studio. It's all right. Back into it anyway, Tice. While we're here, mate, while we're here.
Well, we actually had our own break.
Yeah, we had our own little breather.
Yeah,
we will have one shortly, that's all right.
Tribute of silence.
Teething areas, exactly. That will come up today.
The ad break's on. Hang on.
Is it?
Yeah, we're going.
Oh, we just can't hear it.
You're off air.
Oh, thanks, Damo.
Yeah. No, it's all good. Can't you hear the ad break? That's weird. No, okay. Well, it is going there, so... Hang on. You know why? Try this. It is going to air the ad break, so don't panic. That's the main thing. I'll just see if this... Ah, it's all good. Yeah, it probably is. Haven't really been told about how to go ahead. Sick.
Team nightly at 6 for Melbourne's #1 news. Tony Jones with the latest sport, including the footy, plus Lavinia Nixon's weather forecast. 9 News, proud supporter of the Eastern Football League.
You've all been to funerals of family members or friends, right? Do you start thinking about what you would want at your funeral? It's a bit like when you go to a wedding. At what stage do you start planning?
Have an open and honest conversation with your loved ones. Celebrate your life the way you want, like I did with a fixed price funeral plan from Tobin Brothers Funerals. The price doesn't change and your life will be celebrated your way. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
At Eastland, we believe one day isn't enough to celebrate all that our beautiful mums do.
Hey, Bruce. They're saying you should be able to hear it because we got our B bus on. Oh, that's all right. Alright, that's all right. It doesn't matter. As long as we're going there, I'll just count you guys in. That's all right. We'll make do.
Just a home at Knox Private, 24/7.
45 seconds.
Of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner. Close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Correct.
To Eastland for a post-game feed. If only they had this kind of teamwork on the field. They've just ordered starters to share, plus frothies for the whole table.
So 15 seconds and then I'll play the sweeper to come back in.
Thanks,
and I'll count you in. All right, 5 seconds to sweeper. 3, 2, 1, sweeper.
Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Mike's on.
Yes, welcome back to Zerby's Reserve here for the Premier Division clash between Doncaster East and Doncaster. Both sides looking to get their first win in the Premier Division for 2021, and for the Lions, their first one in their history. I'm sure they've been counting down the days. I'm Matthew Fodder. I'm joined by Tyson Popplestone and Gavin Casey. And gents, we've looked at some clubs that are looking to break losing streaks and get their inaugural wins in new divisions. And now we're going to look at two really key games for mine across, and one's in Premier Division and one is in Division 4. Let's start with the one in Division 4. And out at Surrey Park today, not too far from here. It's the Panthers taking on the Cats, and in Division 4, it's literally all some sort of feline mascots. I think only there's the Nunawading Lions, there's the two Cougars, Kilsyth and Coldstream. There's the Chancellor Park Panthers, the Surrey Park Panthers, the Sylvan Cats, and then the Forest Hill Zebras and the Kangaroos. So it's quite an eclectic bunch of mascots down there.
If I ever run into a kangaroo, I'm tripping on something that I didn't know.
Well, we'll be looking back at the power supply. It's a bit of Monty Burns, the three-eyed fish from The Simpsons, isn't it? Surrey Park and Sylvan, both sides. So Surrey Park actually edged out Sylvan in 2019 by, I can't remember the exact percentile, but it was a very, very close percentage. Both sides having thumping wins in that last round to sneak into the finals. And the Panthers came gap from such a low point. Now a real contender in 2021.
1, 2, 3, 4.
To get where they are today.
I think this is top three teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Coldstream, Daylight, and then these two.
Right, I knew you'd say that. I just led you into that. I just hope that there isn't much daylight there. That's only like a crack rather than a...
But there was meant to be daylight last year, or in 2019 in this division, wasn't there? And Fair Park came from third. So, yeah.
Well, I think finals, we'll get to finals and we'll go, we expect something, but surely something different could happen, and it invariably does. So I'm not worried about it, because for me, I've just now realised over many years, football is about qualifying. If you play good football from week to week or you don't, you still just got qualifying and you can reset. So I just think the Surrey Park and Sylvan they'll be wanting a double chance, and that's their season. Don't worry about first, second or third necessarily. double chance, get yourself a better chance of getting to the grand final.
Yeah.
And today's important because you can't gain that game back. You can only equalise it.
Yeah.
They're not playing 3 times, are they?
They might be. I think the 2 teams you play in the first 2 rounds, you will play 3 times, which makes this clash a key one because, like you said, if you can win 2 out of the 3 games against one of your main rivals, you're going to get that 4-point jump on them, which, given that in this division we expect the top 3 to 4 teams probably won't drop many games to the lower ranked sides. There seems to be a clear divide once again. We don't really know about Kilsyth yet, given they played Croydon North M-Lock. So, we might find out more about them today when they play Coldstream. But like you said there's top 3 sides that seem far and away. And as long as they keep beating the bottom teams, these games are going to be so crucial, Tyson.
Mate, I couldn't have said it better. I'm not sure what to add to that apart from the fact I think Coldstream is going to be under a little bit of pump. I'd love to think there's daylight there for them, but it's going to be an interesting start to the season. Gav, to your point, I think one of the interesting things that a lot of us look past is we want to have the perfect season. No one likes to lose, but in the end, the only one it's the one game at the end of the season that really matters if you can get there. So regardless of how you qualify, good, bad or ugly, it's the place you want to find yourself at the end of the season.
And we might be talking in theories and whatnot, but I don't know much about Polar kicking 9 goals.
Yeah, that's a hard thing, isn't it?
It's 2 years ago since any of these, and he's not someone I remember involved in the comp. So kicking 9 against Nuttawading, that's only, that's not the same as up against Coldstream. So this game's going to enlighten us. Names we should be looking for, names we should be recalling from our past viewing, which was, 2 years ago. So if we sound like we're just talking around a little bit, it is because some of these names are so brand new to us that it's not a blank canvas that's being painted here, but there's certainly a lot of work to be done.
Well, Matthew Pollock, he will definitely enjoy that day. So in 2019, he played 3 games in the seniors and kicked just the 3 goals for the season, and he's already tripled that total in the first round. But you're right, it is hard to get a read on how good Surrey Park are, and David Jensen said that last week on EFNL Sunday. But Sylvan, they actually had probably the toughest matchup you could get for those sides, playing Forest Hill last week, and they did okay. They held them at arm's length all day. It was 1 point the difference the Zebras going into the last term, and the Cats pulled away 14-17 to 12-12, and they're an interesting one, the Cats. Trent Martin's used his connections well. He's recruited a lot of Croydon and Mooroolbark guys, I'm sure all friends, off the field, and they're building quite a strong unit out there. They've used their under-19s. They've created a connection with St Simons, who don't have a senior club. So they're actually sort of feeding St Simons kids that might not be at the level to play in Premier Division with Rowville, or to play even with Scoresby. They're going to try.
So St Simons of Scoresby.
Yes. So St Simons out that Rowville Scoresby way. Trent Martin told me that their committee members, realised that they didn't have a senior club they were connected to. So went out there and created a connection and got a few of their kids over to play 19s. Won the premiership in the 19s in 2019. So they've done some good work off the field to create a bit more of a feeder system there, Tyson. So the red dirt, the blokes out there in the red dirt, they're building something nicely.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Zebras. I think it's going to be a really interesting, as you say, I'm sort of just backing up everything that you guys have said, but it's a really interesting start to the season. Zebras are going to be desperate to get out there and put another stamp on the board, but I guess we'll be talking about this in a couple of hours after the game, and I'm interested just to see how they fare to kickstart round 2.
Absolutely. Now, the big game I want to talk about mainly, and we should have a bit more with the statistics provided to us by Premier Data, is Norwood and Baldwin. And, Gav, we spoke with Brash at this time last week about, Norwood this year, they want to get a seat at the big boys table again. They lost their seat back in 2015. They haven't returned to the finals since their loss to Baldwin in that grand final. And they're taking on a Baldwin side who many expected to sort of slide, but they did so well last week, knocking off Vermont. So it's quite an interesting matchup. It's a big one. I think it's a bigger one for Norwood. Baldwin have got enough points in the bank to probably, if they slip up this weekend, no one's going to write them off. But Norwood's the kind of team, if they can pinch this win today, it'll send a message that they might be back for good.
Yeah, I take some pride in that. I tipped Baldwin to be a premiership contender, and so I think Baldwin's got the credentials. They even if all the outs, I think the ins have just balanced them out nicely. They might even be a more balanced lineup with their talls, and hopefully they're not all go ball centric.
Yeah, well,
he's not their first option anymore.
I think last week Lyle 3 goals. I think, I can't remember off the top of my head, might have been Glasgow. No, he's moved. That's me. I'll quickly get those stats up. But yeah, Tyson, that Jordan Lyle, he's a big man. I saw some photos of him. He's a wide man. He's going to be very hard to move for some defenders in the Premier Division this year.
It is going to be. I was having a look through some ball win highlights last night, actually, and I think there's a lot of faces that I recall from about 2014. They've been playing together as a unit for quite a while, and when you spend enough time playing shoulder to shoulder with a lot of boys, not only do you get confidence, and especially with the last 6 or 7 years of history that they've had as a club, but you start to be able to read each other's play quite nicely. So I think, Gav, you're very right. They're going to be a tough team to contend with this year, as they have for the last few years. And to kickstart the season with a win over Vermont is a really powerful way to start, because I think those two are really good gauges as to the level of the Premier League competition.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a good one to watch.
And hopefully it means Vermont might come back to the pack a little bit too. In terms of the way Bowen did it, their pressure, they had 32 more pressure acts with 64 of them. So obviously making it hard for Vermont to get that, uncontested style of play going, which they wanted, because Vermont had 204 uncontested disposals and only 83 contested. So obviously they had a lot of uncontested receives, but Bowen put them under pressure immediately, because turnovers, there was a lot of them. Vermont had 60. So they're putting a lot of pressure on the ball, the Tigers, and they had a lot more tackles as well. They had 61 tackles to 50. So they're obviously hunting, and they're playing that modern, maybe Richmond style.
I wonder, Norwood, where they're at in terms of North Ringwood. It might be a worry if Norwood don't frank the form for them. It's a 10-goal difference between Norwood and North Ringwood. But
it happened late, didn't it?
Yeah, Norwood. Previously, I don't think they had the depth around the stoppages. They just didn't have the talent to clear. I remember a game where Vermont played at Norwood, and the spread that Vermont had out of stoppages, they almost created stoppages against them to expose them around the contest. So I wonder if Norwood's pace with Bennell and other players, they've got a better structure around the ball.
I think so. I watched a fair bit of those highlights, as I mentioned, in the break, having a cousin that plays there and doing a bit of analysis for him himself. But in terms of the stats that Premier Data provided, both sides last week had the same amount of touches, the Saints and the Wooders. Norwood only had 44 contested disposals out of 293. So obviously Marty Pask wants them to play that nice run and gun style and get it out open spaces. But you're right, in terms of like that stuff when they're going to play the big boys, Vermont, Ball and Blackburn, they're going to have some big bodies. South Croydon, they only won clearances, they were down 9. And they won the centre bounces by 3, Norwood, but every other clearance stat North Ringwood wrote on top of them, Tyson. So Gav's right. Whilst they're obviously got the skillful players on the outside, and that's going to be their strength to get clean ball in. When you do play the better teams, you do actually need to win it around the coalface.
Yeah. Did you say when was the last time Norwood played in this division? Was it 2000?
No. They played in the division prior. They won the premiership 2014 and made the grand final the following year and lost big to Baldwin, and since then haven't made the finals. Which for a club, Gav, I'd say this is probably a fair way that they talk. That the way they present themselves is one of the big boys. But if you haven't made finals in 4 years, you wouldn't consider. I don't think you can consider yourself one of the big boys. So that's why it's such a big year for them.
The one thing that sticks in my mind, they get behind on the ledger, and then they start beating the teams ahead of them, and it's too little, too late. And then when it comes to finals, the other team goes, "Oh, hang on, treat them seriously." And then they don't. When they got into, they just don't. Did they miss by percentage 2 years ago?
I think last year might have been percent. Yeah, well, sorry, last season was percentage. But you're right, they were actually in last.
They were in the 5.
They were in the 5 and lost them late. But in previous years, it's games early. Like you said, they might lose to a North Ringwood or a Noble Park or for example Doncaster when they weren't making finals, and then they try to play catch up, and it's too hard to do in a Premier Division once everyone gets rolling. So it'll be interesting to see how they go. But in terms of the way they're moving the ball, obviously when you said there, Gav, when they get on the outside, they're very good, because even though they had less inside 50s than North Ringwood, they managed to get 37 of them deep, which is 15, 20 metres out, which means they're going to have better shots at goal.
And what do you think of their forward options? Was it Pearson kicking goals last week?
Pearson kicked 5 goals. Actually starts on ball. So watching him his footage, he starts in the centre bounce a lot. Yeah. Does a lot of work there, but obviously floats forward. Maybe it's a big call, of course, but we're making big calls. Tyson was comparing Andrew Padbury to Jason Dunstall. I'm going to go Blake Pitt. Maybe that's sort of like Dustin Martin, Nat Fyfe sort of thing, where they start at the stoppage, the key stoppage, and then might float forward, especially if they're going to play a running game. Yeah. He's quite a short guy, Blake. He's very strong. Yeah. So his role might be actually as a forward who starts in the centre bounce to help them with those centre bounces, and then around the ground they use their runners. So
they had a great full forward and a very handy centre forward. Yeah. Have they got that now?
Again, looking at the footage, well, Daniel Sutcliffe's a huge man. He took a couple of big, powerful marks, and just seemed metres above the North Ringwood players. Marty Pax was pretty big, and this is obviously a line any coach would have said when losing Lee Williams. It's a good chance for us to reshape the way we use the ball. But I think they were almost like Hawthorn in that period where they only kicked it to Buddy. Eventually, sometimes, as good as Lee was, it might give them a chance to refresh and reset and become a new Norwood side with more options. I think Rhett Jordan's spending some time in the goal square too, and he's not overly tall, so it's a different look forward line. People panic when you lose a star, but it's like there's 18 blokes. They will find a way of kicking goals and playing football. And I'm sure Lee's, when they won those premiership, made the grand final, it was because the other 17 blokes were getting in the footy. It wasn't him demanding. It's very hard as a full forward to carry a team, isn't it? Because someone's got to kick it to you. And you don't want him shut down, and it's like, well, what do we do next? Exactly. But from Baldwin's point of view, like we said, they played a big pressure game. They're still missing Charlie Haley, who's out. This will be the last week of his suspension that he copped in the prelim final. So that's another chance for Nord to make a move there and win. But yeah, like I said, I think this is a massive game, because if Baldwin win this, they'll be 2-0. They'll have knocked off two other contenders, Tyson. And if Nord win it, they'll have maybe sent a statement to your Vermonts and your Blackburns that we're here for real this year. Yeah, well, Gav, you said it earlier. We're getting a little bit philosophical up here today, and I'm going to just continue that trend. Go with it, mate. I think Baldwin, and as you say, when you're putting wins on the board, when you've got the reputation and the history that a club like Baldwin does, pretty consistently playing finals or at least being thereabouts, it's very easy, or at least easier, to be able to get back out there with so much confidence in your club. So I think they're going to go out with a whole heap of confidence, not only on their history but on last week's win. Norwood's got their work cut out, I think. I think they're going to have to do a lot very right in order to be able to contend with a club like Baldwin. So it's going to be really interesting to watch, but my money's on Baldwin for the win. Well, what I like seeing is Freeman's going to be a great addition to that forward line as well. And when Jaffa Williams is in the best, then there's excitement around the ball. Well, I was about to say, so Jaffa Williams only had the 12 disposals, but kicked 3 goals, plenty of 2 marks inside 50, and had 5 inside 50s himself. And then, as you mentioned there, James Freeman, just the 6 touches, but he did take 2 marks, and one of them inside 50. So provided an option down there, and actually kicked 3 behind. So if he'd kicked straight, could have been a really good day for him. Well, I just wonder, in a final, when you're going to Lyle, but you can actually lower your eyes, and someone like Freeman will present, and it'll catch out defences if they're going to certain hit-ups. And also Jeff Goebbels, who's, he might actually slide under the radar a bit. Only had the 10 touches last week, but 6 marks, 4 of them inside 50, kicked 3 goals and the match winner. So, with Jordan Lyle being there, and he is genuinely a big hulk of a man, so he's going to just naturally draw attention. You're right, Gav. It's an opportunity for those guys to pop up. And Sean Cross is still doing it. 22 touches last week, 12 of them contested, 4 clearances and 4 tackles himself with 5 1%ers. So a fairly good game from the veteran Tyson. He's still got it. Yeah, I'm not going to add any more to that, apart from the fact he does really still have it with an exclamation mark. Yeah, absolutely. There you go. But tips on that game? You two look like you're going Baldwin? Yeah, I'm Baldwin. I'm going to tip Norwood at home. Brush is sitting next to me. He's just sort of nodding along. I don't know which team he's going with. He's having a day off before the big game tomorrow. So an exciting game of Premier Division football. But it looks like all divisions are evening up. And we were going to say Division 2 looked to be able to clear divide. But Heathmont last night won the Parker Cup. They upset Ringwood after Ringwood kicked the first 3. And then after that, the Jets just clawed them back and held on. That's a massive win for them, Gav. And again, the break could have killed football clubs. But it looks like the football clubs are going, no, who do we need in our club and how do we do this better than we were doing it? So I think some of the clubs are in a better position. I don't know. Financially, I don't know. Well, I think some clubs are more organised. Well, we spoke to Heathmont during the week on the podcast, Ben and I, and Justin O'Dwyer was in the Vice President talking about the Parker Cup, and they've got the new facility. Like, that facility is now a state of the art, and they've said, well, we've got it, we may as well use it. So that Friday night fixture, I think they're going to try and make more of them. It was meant to be a massive crowd, so they would have done quite well financially out of it. And then winning the game also helped kickstart their season. New coach as well, would have been nervous, especially going in to play Ringwood. Maybe it's the slip-up Ringwood needed to have earlier on rather than building the pressure on themselves. But it would have been a great night for Heathmont, not only the win, but they would have definitely utilised their newfound status as a marquee club. I think the Ringwood Basin, the Basin, I said the Ringwood, the Basin. I reckon they might run with that. Yeah, the Ringwood. Yeah.
and Heathmont, form can be thrown out because they do have rivalry. And it's good that divisions have clubs not liking each other, but respecting that they have that rivalry. So that's what's good. Heathmont will beat Ringwood, even if they're not as good as them.
Exactly. They were rolling two pretty disappointing losses and then came out and knocked off a side that, have just been torching teams. Ticey played obviously a bit of footy, mate. Who was one side you really loved? You always had a close game no matter where you were on the ladder.
Well, I think it was always Vermont. Even since back then, it didn't seem to matter. I'm a Carlton fan, I'm ashamed to admit, and my wife's a Bombers girl, and I think one of the games I always look forward to, despite where the teams are placed on the ladder, is that game, because it's always a contested, close game. Vermont Baldwin, same situation. I think they're the team that stands out.
So you're saying last week's probably hard to get a read on either side because they're always close. Yeah, absolutely. And you'd be looking forward to the Carlton Essendon game this year, given that Essendon's a bit whimsical.
Yeah, well, I don't want to go into it with too much confidence because I've been confident since 2001.
You've been burnt. You've been absolutely burnt. Okay, we're going to go to our second break. On the other side of this one, we're going to look dead square at this one right here at Zerby's Reserve between two rivals who I'm sure we're hoping for our sake that play close games every time they meet as well. It's Doncaster East and Doncaster from Zerby's Reserve here after the break.
You're clear, 4 minutes.
It's from 53 inside 50s, down on clearances and can't lay a tackle. What was the seniors coach going to do?
Can you guys hear the ad break now? Can you guys hear the ad break?
Shout them a post-game feed and frothies at Eastland if they won. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland. Proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner, broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman, or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wantirna.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or for some people, show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $255 a year on water and energy bills. Save the performance for the stage. Shower shorter. Save water.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Hello, I'm Peter Hitchener. 9 News invites you to join our team nightly at 6 for Melbourne's #1 news. Tony Jones with the latest sport, including the footy, plus Lavinia Nixon's weather forecast. 9 News, proud supporter of the Eastern Football League.
You've all been to funerals of family members or friends, right? Do you start thinking about what you would want at your funeral? It's a bit like when you go to a wedding. At what stage do you start planning?
Have an open and honest conversation with your loved ones. Celebrate your life the way you want, like I did with a fixed price funeral plan from Tobin Brothers Funerals. The price doesn't change and your life will be celebrated your way. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
At Eastland, we believe one day isn't enough to celebrate all that our beautiful mums do. That's why we're celebrating Happy Mother's Days, the festival of love she deserves. From dining to fashion, homewares or a pampering session, Eastland has all your favourite brands ready to spoil mum. And if you need inspiration, check out our online gift guides. Spend $250 and you'll go in the running to win a $50 Eastland gift card till May 8th. T's and C's apply. Find out more at eastland.com.au. Eastland, live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner, broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman, or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wantirna.
The senior coach has taken the team to Eastland for a post-game feed. If only they had this kind of...
You guys hear me? Hello? You guys hear me down there? Can anyone hear me? I am doing the right thing, aren't I? You're back on air.
And welcome back to Zerby's Reserve. Thanks there, Damo, back in the studio for Doncaster East taking on Doncaster in the Premier Division here. And both sides looking for their first win of 2021. And the Lions, of course, their first win in the Premier Division ever. And unfortunately, fortunately for them, they look like they've probably shortened in price with double Chandler medalist Chris Anarkis being ruled out and Matthew Schimmelbus for the Sharks. So a couple of key outs there for Doncaster. Our boundary riders Ryan and Jared are going down to just find out the late ins, if there are any. But boys, we've done a bit of research on this game, and obviously last week Doncaster East almost put off a great upset, defeating or only losing to Blackburn by 1 point, and probably should have won the game from all reports. Of course, we've only asked Doncaster East people, so they might give us a different view on things. But they definitely had chances late, and Brendan Allen said on EFNL Sunday last week that Blackburn probably pulled a couple of goals out the proverbial as well, so late at the end. So I don't know what your read is on it, but looking at the way the stats shape the game, Doncaster East play they're focusing on the clearances and they're focusing on contested disposals, and they get their strength from Zach Clark as well. So they won the hit-outs 70-22. They won contested disposals by 29. They won the clearances 52-33, and they won the centre clearances 11-6, and had 6 more contested marks. So I think Doncaster can expect a team that's going to try and dominate it from the middle of the ground, Tyson. Yeah,
it's interesting. And you never want to celebrate an injury, you never want to celebrate any trouble that a player might be going through. But if there's one person or one club that could celebrate right now, it's Doncaster East, looking at the couple of late withdrawals. What actually happened with these couple of guys, the late injuries you said?
Well, like I said, Ryan and Jared are going to chase that up. By the looks of it, and we did say Chris Anarkis was uncharacteristically quiet last week with just 10 disposals. So, albeit coming off a very long layoff with first an injury and then the pandemic. But he was effective with those disposals, but that indicates to me that there was something that might have pulled up during the week, and they've tried to push it through. Schimmelbusch, not quite sure. So it's going to be interesting. They're definitely going through a bit of a transition phase, the Sharks. But in terms of the Lions, guys, who have you got your eye on today?
I think Zach Clark was best on ground.
Well, evidently.
last week. I think he's going to be a really interesting one to watch. 19 disposals last week, kicking at 50% efficiency. Really interested to watch him continue on. Another bloke I'm really interested in watching is Jake Whitling. Last week, good game. Had 21 touches, but 4 tackles as well. Yeah, and 5 inside 50s and 3 rebound 50s. So he provides a lot of run, doesn't he, Gav? We've watched him for many a year out here at Zerb. He's really dominating the wing between the arcs, doing a lot of hard running. Kicked 1 goal too as well. So he can definitely hit teams on the scoreboard.
Yeah, there's a few X-Factor players in the Donny East side because they all work hard around the ball, but I like Jack Shalakis.
Bit of X-Factor, isn't he?
Yeah, because he can pop up and do something different every time. So when you're actually marking him, you're not sure whether you'll go into a ruck contest or fly for a mark or stay down on the ground. So I think he has got something when they need a bit of flair and a bit of excitement to get the buzz back into the lineup. It comes through someone like Jack, and just keeps them motivated, knowing that there is X factor around the ground that can, when you're being dulled or the opposition are putting pressure on you, some magic can come from somewhere.
Absolutely. He's been a key player over the years. Like I said, not a high disposal player, but definitely a high impact player, Jack Shalakis. A couple others who had big games last week are Simon White, and I'm sure we'll get used to this, 23 touches with 8 marks, and James Appleby, 23 touches, only 2 handballs, so obviously getting metres gained, 12 contested touches and 9 clearances, so he's going to be another big player today. But in terms of the Sharks, where they probably lost the game last week, they allowed 89 marks. So it was 89 to 30 marks. So Blackburn obviously controlled the ball quite well. 76 of Blackburn's marks were uncontested. And there was 201 uncontested disposals for the Burners. So obviously the Lions are trying to play that contested game, and Blackburn tried to control the ball, and in the end that probably might have hurt them as the game wore on. And also what would have hurt them, of course, not only their goal kicking deficiency, Gav, but they have 47% kicking efficiency across the whole game. So you can't turn the ball over that many times against a good side like Blackburn.
Yeah, and it probably didn't. They didn't pay the penalty for that in the lower division, Donny East, because
they just get it back.
Yeah, they just tackle and run in numbers, and they burst forward. So they were rarely punished for their errors like they can be here. And Blackburn probably admitted that they took their opportunities. And even last week when we saw Berwick, it's like they didn't take their opportunities. And Noble Park, I think in the last quarter,
I think that it was only like they probably kicked 2 straight to 1-8 or something like that. Yeah.
They probably Brash was saying, which probably he shouldn't have. He said there's only one team who's going to score.
Yeah.
Noble Park a minute later went.
Well, I'm sure the faithful will be chasing Brash down, but it's a good point. Doncaster East probably get away with it more in this ground too because of its size too. You can turn it over and have players immediately put pressure on the guy who's intercepted. Whereas, as you said, Gav, that's going to be something they need to polish up when they get to the bigger grounds against better. Well, Blackburn's obviously a very good team, but if they play a Berwick or Noble Park on a big ground and turn it over, could be going straight back very, very quickly. So definitely something that we'll watch today. In terms of the Sharks, lost by 69 points to South Croydon, but the good things for them were they won the clearances. They won them by 7. They won the centre clearances 14-6, and they had 41 pressure acts and actually used the ball quite well. 67% disposal efficiency. And Tice, you've got a couple of key names there you're watching for the Sharks today.
I've got a couple of highlights, and one of the blokes I'm so excited to watch. I haven't seen him play for a couple of years, but I saw him out there warming up earlier. And gee, he's a player with some swagger, and that is a bloke by the name of Chris Colombo. If you haven't heard of him, he's a really effective player. He's fast, he's clean, he's efficient. Played well last week. Had 17 disposals, 64% efficiency. Really, really keen to play him. A little bit like what you were saying earlier, Gav. Not necessarily a monstrous game in compared to the likes of sort of Jack Mahon and Nick Kempier last week, but the 17 touches that he had were impressive, and he's a guy that can just light up a game with a couple of touches. So he's one bloke I'm really keen to watch alongside the blokes like Jack Mahon and Kempier who I've just mentioned.
Yeah, I put him in this. He obviously doesn't have the awards for effort like an Arcus does, the prestige of being a medalist, but he's the one that's coming in to be his support and has to do it in his absence. And Arcus gets sat on in the contest but still wins clearances. Colombo will be the next one now to be focused, and Van der Haar also. So if they're not ready for physical contact, then someone needs to smack them on the back of the head right now, because just that you will be targeted.
Absolutely, and Colombo's a key one because South Croydon, big win last week over Doncaster. But I think the score might have lied a bit because you look at the stats, and like as I said there, the Sharks won the clearances. They were actually good users of the ball. They applied pressure where they could. One thing they struggled with, they only took 7 marks inside 50 from 53 inside 50. So that's something they're going to have to find. But it looked like Colombo was their main forward, who's not an overly tall man. He had 17 disposals, kicked 3 goals for. So you know, if he kicks a couple straighter, the pressure that puts under South Croydon, so it could have been a different game. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays with probably less space, but also the fact that they can probably get the ball inside 50 a lot quicker, so he might be able to get more one-on-ones. And as I said earlier in the show, Jake Spencer taking on Zach Clark, who dominated, he's going to have to try and negate Clark's effort, or the Sharks are going to have to try and read Clark, and Spencer's just going to have to play more of a body-checking role and maybe a centre-half forward role. So it'll be interesting to see how they approach that.
Do you think South Croydon's been underestimated? Like in terms of that South Croydon, some people thinking they're going to fall out of the top 5. That, you know, losing to them by 10 goals might not be. They might be.
Yeah, exactly.
So we don't know.
That's all the thing, don't we? You know, it could. You know, at the end of the year, South Croydon could win the premiership, and moving on. Doncaster only lost by 10 goals, and Blackburn might finish 6th, and Doncaster. But yeah, off what, like you're saying, it's just all off our pre-season predictions, isn't it? But South Croydon spoke to their captain Liam Cox during the week. You know, they've added some pretty key players. James Wilson, Braden Kilpatrick, Matthew Burt, a lot of players that had signed a couple of years back and obviously didn't get a chance to play. So, like you said, probably gone under the radar because of all the big Nat Baldwin's obviously signing Lyle. That's a big in. Vermont always have a couple of players coming in. Blackburn are good at promoting themselves. Nord, like I said, they're trying to put their hand forward. So sometimes it's all PR management too after a big layoff, isn't it? If clubs put enough stuff on social media, you start to buy into the hype.
Yeah, well, especially at local level, it's like, it sounds like you're confident.
Yeah.
It sounds like, you know, you're talking a good game. And until the game gets played on the grass, it's all in theory. And but Doncaster have had their turmoil a couple of years ago about players unavailable and injuries. And and it got to them a stage where it probably rattled the club.
They struggled. The reserves, did they almost forfeit in 2019?
Yeah, so they didn't. Yeah, reserves one game didn't play just because they couldn't get the numbers at all. Not even a 50-year-old was going to pull the boots on like we've seen in Division 4 or whatever. You just couldn't get anyone to turn up.
Well, Yay actually was struggling and promoted a free six-pack of VB or something in the rooms afterward. All of a sudden they had too many numbers. It's a good point though, because Doncaster, they sort of came out of nowhere. They won Division 3, went back down, won it again, then won Div 2 a couple of years later, went straight into finals, were around the mark. There was a year there where I think Brash actually thought they were going to win the flag maybe in 2018.
Yeah.
You know, they were going so well, and then it's sort of just fallen apart at the seams maybe with their coach, was it, I can't remember off the top of my head now, ex-Collingwood.
You
know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, Andrew Tranquilli.
That's it, Andrew Tranquilli. He's gone. I think he's coaching the Northern League now, and Stewie Kemmerman's come in, and obviously a great name in the Eastern Football Netball League history. But maybe Andrew was doing a lot behind the scenes to get players to come back and put the hard yards in.
Well, when in Division 2, which is now Division 1, they won the premiership with Nathan Thompson.
Against Doncaster East.
So they were too good for the division below, and then they were bringing that line up that got used to winning, and then they became a winning club. But then as soon as the numbers dropped, they couldn't cope with the week-to-week battle that is the Premier Division, where no one gives you an even chance to have an easy win. So, yeah, if you don't have the numbers around the club, that's why they're struggling. And today,
prime example.
Yeah, they've lost a couple of their prime movers, one of the best fullbacks, probably potentially the best midfielder in the comp. So.
Quickly before we go, Toss.
Yeah, no, I had a question. Another one that I had an asterisk next to that I was curious to ask you about. I don't know if you've got any stats there. Michael Mahawazalak, he seemed to be the one name under the tackles column of the stats last week that stood out to me. There was a lot of zeros next to a lot of players, so I thought tackle pressure could be an area of Doncaster's game that they might want to really focus on today.
Absolutely, it's going to be key. He's definitely going to be key. Then we know it's going to be a contested ball game here at Zerbies. We're going to go to our final break. On the other side of this, we're going to be heading into the game. We're going to have the commentary team all set, ready to go, and we're also, of course, going to pay tribute to our Anzac soldiers before us on this Anzac Day Eve. It's Zerbies Reserve here for Doncaster East taking on Doncaster in the Eastern Football Netball League Premier Division.
And you're clear. You've got 4 minutes and 10 seconds.
Only 19 shots from 53 inside 50s, down on clearances and can't lay a tackle. What was the seniors coach going to do? Jono surprised himself and everyone else. The spray he gave the boys at halftime worked. Well, he did finish it by saying he'd shout him a post-game feed and frothies at Eastland if they won. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland. Proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner, broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman, or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or for some people, show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $255 a year on water and energy bills. Save the performance for the stage. Shower shorter. Save water.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Hello, I'm Peter Hitchener. 9 News invites you to join our team nightly at 6 for Melbourne's #1 news. Tony Jones with the latest sport, including the footy, plus Lavinia Nixon's weather forecast. 9 News, proud supporter of the Eastern Football League.
You've all been to funerals of family members or friends, right? Do you start thinking about what you would want at your funeral? It's a bit like when you go to a wedding. At what stage do you start planning?
Have an open and honest conversation with your loved ones. Celebrate your life the way you want, like I did with a fixed price funeral plan from Tobin Brothers Funerals. The price doesn't change and your life will be celebrated your way. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
At Eastland, we believe one day isn't enough to celebrate all that our beautiful mums do. That's why we're celebrating Happy Mother's Days, the festival of love she deserves. From dining to fashion, homewares or a pampering session, Eastland has all your favourite brands ready to spoil mum. And if you need inspiration, check out our online gift guides. Spend $250 and you'll go in the running to win a $50 Eastland gift card till May 8th. T's and C's apply. Find out more at eastland.com.au. Eastland, live real.
1 minute.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner, broke a finger high-fiving the ruckman, or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
The senior coach has taken the team to Eastland for a post-game feed. If only they had this kind of teamwork.
Yeah, so we've got 20 seconds plus the opener. We've got the opener's 25, so right now 40 from this point.
He circled back. Yes! Straight into his pie hole. You beauty! Good form, boys. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland. Proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland,
It's time
live real.
for the match of the round. Let's cross to our team and go local for your footy.
All right, mic's on. And go.
Yes, welcome back to Zerby's Reserve here for the massive Premier Division clash here between two local rivals, Doncaster East and their western neighbours, Doncaster. And the reserves have just wrapped up and Doncaster East have grabbed their first win in Premier Division history, albeit in the reserves, 66-25. I'm joined by Tyson Popplestone and Gavin Casey. And gents, we've done the big pre-game and now as the Doncaster East side run onto the ground, what's your feeling around the ground today? I was probably expecting a slightly bigger crowd given that it's a big chance for them to make history. What are we thinking?
Yeah, unless they're hiding underneath the pavilion.
They might be.
It's looking a bit thin around the ground. Not often, when I've been here, not many people stand on the outer side with the players and coaches box there. No one really goes on that end. It's only got a path around the edge, so It's hard to know. But they haven't had an established rivalry, so this is for me. As much as we would think, because they've been in the same division, but they haven't really hated each other as much as we put out there.
Well, they've always been at different stages of their lives, haven't they? You know, when Doncaster were flying, Doncaster East were just building. You know, they played in that grand final, but as you said before the break, Gav, Doncaster were massively too good for that division that year. So, and then whilst Doncaster have been up here contending for finals, the Lions have been doing their work in the division below. Tice, what was your feeling today, mate, walking through the gates when you thought about this game?
Well, I'm interested to watch Donny East. I haven't seen them play since their grand final of 2019, and one thing that really stood out to me was the ability of the Lions to be able to run. They're not only a skillful team, but they're a fit team, or they were a fit team. So I'm really curious just to see whether that little skill fitness combo is still in existence, especially some of their tall players. Jakey Summers, really strong runner, whether he's playing wing, centre half forward, centre half back. He just seems to have an engine that matches his stature. So really curious to watch how their fitness has sort of progressed over the last 18 months.
Yeah, absolutely. It is going to be interesting, of course, of how they approach that. They've, of course, always got a plethora of ex-AFL players running around. There's only, well, off the top of my head now, there's only a couple, Sam Rose, Simon White and Zach Clark out there today. So that's pretty low for them, Gav. Usually they've got about 6.
Yeah, well, they could have had more. But
of course, Maverick Weller was due to play, but has decided to stay back in beautiful Tasmania. He's a Devonport boy. Not much happening in Devonport.
Did you visit Devonport when you were playing cricket?
I did Devonport for the 2-week quarantine. I saw all of Devonport. There's not much to see. I could see it all from my hotel room. So, Interesting. On the Doncaster side of things, as we said, big laid out with Chris Anarkis out, Matthew Schimmelbusch for their two key outs, and the only in we can really see is Hayden, Batoli, Simons, who's going to jump in for their side. They're, as we said before, the break, Gav, they've been sort of depleted. They're not the side they once were. What are you expecting from them today? Is it just about effort and maybe take it deep? Because we all seem to be leaning towards the Lions winning quite comfortably.
Well, the one thing you can do that doesn't take skill is tackle and pressure and run. It doesn't take any skill whatsoever. And if you get the ball in your hand, it's up to the opposition to get it off you. And when they've got it, you can harass them into mistakes and you can tackle them. That doesn't take skill. That takes application. So if they can do that for a quarter, then the motivation to keep doing it will just grow on that momentum of effort. So they need to start with that.
Yeah, it took the words out of my mouth, Gav. I was going to mention tackle pressure is a huge thing, especially on a ground like this, though it's important each and every week. I think on a small-ish kind of ground, the way that the slingshot effect can sort of kick in with a ball that flings out after a tackle can be really impressive. So if there's one area of their game where they could match just with effort, the skill set or the ability of Donny East, I think it's the tackle pressure. So really hoping to see an improved effort in that part of their game this week.
Umpires are on the ground now. Dan Beard, he never runs out of steam. I'm surprised clubs don't try to poach him, Gav. He's an absolute weapon on the running. That's a man you want to follow on Strava there, Tyson. We'll talk pre. Doncaster look very short to me, gents, as we look out here over the side. They've got a couple of maybe big fellas with the socks up, but outside of that, very short side.
Yeah, very short, very young as well from what I can see. I feel like the mullet is a dead giveaway for a young player
exactly,
at the moment. I can see about 7 mullets.
Although the Doncaster area is a bit more of a classy area, so it might be a bit more of the fade, the build-up fade. So we're just preparing for our Anzac celebrations or celebrations is the right word. Yeah, I thought I was going to try. That's it, commemoration. Thank you, Bruce. I was almost saying commiserations, unfortunately. So we've got some stuff out there. Lee Green, of course, providing his own slouch hat. And he's providing all of the audio, which is coming up here, which I think it actually should be on right now, but the sides are still just prepping. So hopefully we can get someone out there to get them in line. Doncaster East, Doncaster both having their shots at goal and pre-game warm. What was your pre-game warm-up, Tyson? What did you go to?
Well, mate, I was a pretty simple kind of bloke when it came to a warm-up. I liked a little 15-minute jog just to get the legs stretched out a little bit, couple of strides. I came from a running background, so I like to be able to introduce a little bit of that, and then just a couple of side-to-side movements, just get the hands on the ball a little bit. That was probably where I fell short. Needed more time with the hands on the ball. I could run all day, but then I tried to hand pass it and I fell into a little bit of a pickle.
What about you, Gab? When you pulled on the boots, how long ago that was?
Yeah.
What was your pre-game routine?
Well, I was actually a goal sneak. So getting up and then getting out of the car was my preparation.
That was it?
Yep. So and then it was just look at the goals.
Goal sneak.
Just look at the goals and go, that's where I want to. That's where it wants to finish at. So then I would stand around, chat to a few people.
Yeah. Did you ever play the 2 o'clock game?
No. Because to be honest, I fell out of love for physical activity at about 18, so I concentrated on other things. So my junior career was kicking around corners. Actually, tackling was one thing I admired in my own game.
Forward pressure.
I remember one time a guy that was twice my size said, well, I'm just going to go straight over you. He made a mistake.
Yeah. Oh, did he? Took on the Gav Casey. What would you call yourself? The Casinator? The Gavinator?
Well, when I played indoor soccer, I was Gavino. Again, another poacher.
Absolutely. So it looks like we're all in readiness now for the Anzac Day celebrations.
Thank you. They shall not grow old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. we forget.
Beautiful stuff as per usual there. Well done to Alf Molinaro as well, stepping in at the final moment to be Master of Ceremonies there. And of course, well done to Lee Green, providing all that perfect audio and of course the camera work and the slouch hat there. So beautiful stuff there. We're almost all in readiness here for this Doncaster derby. And joining us for the first time today is, well, he's a hero around these parts. It's Ben Warren Smith.
Oh, good on you. Good afternoon, Matt, Tice and Gav. It's great to be back in the club rooms of Zerby's Reserve, the real home of football. The ground looks an absolute picture today. I've been excited for this game for a year and a half. There's no doubt about that. My first opportunity to watch Doncaster East play in the Premier Division against the side who I played for as well in Doncaster. So the local derby is back. It's exciting. And I see that Chris Anakis has been ruled out today. That's a huge loss for Doncaster, gigantic in fact. Whereas he would probably be a key player in getting them over the line for them to get up. And look, at the game still could be relatively close, but form versus form round one, you have to go with Doncaster East today. There's absolutely no doubt about that.
Of course, because Donny East nearly beat Blackburn, and we know how good they were 2 years ago in the last season. But the loss for Doncaster by 10 goals just means they're a bit off the pace, and they're missing two of their better players and actually experience. That'll count for double when you talk about what's missing today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I think, but the thing with these sort of games is that they probably are always close. As we mentioned in the pre-game, you know, Tice was saying Baldwin and Vermont always seems close. She was saying Heathmont, Ringwood, Heathmont, the Basin always seems close. And then in terms of this as well, the smaller ground might also keep things closer, but also the fact that, you know, we don't actually know how good South Gordon and Blackburn are. We're just going off what we think, Tyson. So, you know, we could be proven wrong in either 2 hours' time or 5 weeks' time.
Exactly right. I think round one's always funny because if there's one game where a top team and a bottom team might have a good clash, it's round one, because you don't know how much rust is attached to the system or attached to the legs of each player. So, hey, it wouldn't read too much into it, though it's hard not to, but it looks like it's going to be a real challenge for Doncaster to face up to the Lions today. And
it looks like some sort of pretty casual scaffolding there for the impromptu coaches box there for the Lions. I don't know how they got that ticked off by the council. That looks like some very, very rotten wood with just a couple of ladders up the top there, but maybe that's the edge they need out here, Ben.
Crowd won't show it on screen, but there is a good crowd in here today at Doncaster East. Impossible to get a park. I'm basically parked in bushland, but
in Doncaster,
not for the first time.
The Doncaster derby is back, and it's exciting, Gav.
Yeah, this is we've got Westfield in the background, and
beautiful Westfield.
Yes,
of course, but we better not mention them. Of course, Eastland is our preferred.
Umpire Dan Beard holds the ball aloft. Here's Gav Casey to take us away with the first term.
And the rivalry's back. Doncaster Town. Donny East might win the first clearance as the bursting through. Taking it there was Silvola. His kick was smothered, but on the bounce it goes to Green. He spills it just as he bursts into side 50. It bounces back into his hands, and Marn takes him down to the ground at where the 50-metre mark is here at Zerby's Reserve, Doncaster East. There's a free kick pulled out for a bit of rough play. Was it in the tackle or was that outside of?
I believe it was in the tackle. There was some argy-bargy happening with the Appleby boys off the play, but I believe it was in the tackle. So it'll be Green to have a ping from 50, Gav.
Yeah, so he did burst and he was about 60 out and his eyes were lighting up. Maybe I'll just go to home, and it spilt out just as he got excited. But he was good enough to get back on the ball, and the tackle was was indiscriminate and knocked him down, and it's a free from straight in front, 50 metres out. From 55 he loads up a long ball. It's pulling across goals. Now it's down the goal square. Spill ball where Spencer is the one that receives a hand pass, kicks it out to Vandar. He goes to ground because it gets to him on the bounce, but when he did bend over, he got some knees into the neck, and it's over the shoulder. That will go to Godden, should say. So Godden with the long locks, off half back, puts a long ball to Mackenzie, who will play a lot of forward ruck role. He'll just go with Spencer, I think. And they'll interchange in the ruck there.
1.5 minutes into this first term, umpire throws it in. No ruck's got either go at it there. Clark used his body. Doncaster through the middle of the ground, linking up nicely there with Zalak on the right boot. Drives it forward. Nobody's home though. Nobody is home at all. And it is Tommy Gordon with the shaped head this year. Takes the mark. Get it away quickly. They're under a bit of pressure, Doncaster East, as they kick it out towards the wing position. Nicely done there by Spencer. Just out positioning his opponent there in Zach Clark this time. The big ruckman. He's had a bit of the ball early for Doncaster and 25 metres to boot, so I'm not too sure what that was about.
I think there's a bit of lip there from James Locke, who seems to be still holding his gaze with the umpire.
So, yeah, no, don't want to do those undisciplined plays, but the big ruckman now, Jake Spencer, he'll kick from just on the paint, gets underneath it, pushes it to the left-hand side, and it goes wayward, right near the cricket nets, out of bounds on the full.
Just a quick one there, guys. It's probably a sign of a side that's probably not on great synergy, but no one, a halfback or a wingman, ran past the ruckman there at any stage, either when he had it on the wing or having a shot for goal. That's usually bread and butter for outside players like ourselves, Tyson.
So many players have come back with the Dazza, as where Gordon's come with the skinhead as it kicks the ball in. It's about across the half back line there. Nicely done, little handball by Hendon, I should say, down the wing position it goes for Doncaster East. They might have a bit of a run here. This is going to sit up nicely for them. Nice little handbar pass over the top. Inside Summers just spots it up nicely as Sam Rowe just says thank you very much. 20 metres out directly in front. The big fella will go back and probably put through Doncaster East first of the day.
I don't know who exactly it was out there with Shalakas, but Shalakas kept his feet.
Yeah, he did
no, I can't remember who the Doncaster play was, and that's all it came down to, because it meant that Nicholas Kent had to commit to Shalakas, and it just opened up the overlap for the Lions, and they should get their first of the day.
Well, Sammy Rowe, it's great to see him in a Lions jumper, hop, skip and a jump. He'll kick through it, he'll kick hard, he'll kick straight. Doncaster East have the first on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. It's 3.5 minutes into this first term, and they lead 1 straight 6. To nothing.
Exactly. So, as I said there, so the Sharks have actually looked alright so far, Tyson. It was just that, couldn't keep his feet, and Gav's man, Jack Shalakas, probably sees a bit of himself in him. That impact forward that Gav was talking about himself there, was able to create that overlap. So that's, not bad signs for the Sharks, just those little things.
Yeah, well, Johnny's kick inside their forward 50 there just went to a little bit of open space. Like their attack pressure, as you said, maybe a little bit of support around the ball. But, hey, early signs aren't too bad for Donny.
So Spencer's been doing well against Clark, but Clark won the tap, but it didn't clear that centre circle area. Clark goes in again, doesn't bend down to get the balls, so it allows Donny East to win the clearance.
Well done.
Quick kick out. It's up to centre forward, but White's in good position, and he bustles out his opponent and takes the mark over Hoverton. And White, he was best on ground in a premiership for Doncaster East, and he stood tall just as the ball went over his opponent's head. 3 of Doncaster go up as they get numbers to half back just to win the contest, get it to ground, and Vanderhaar falls with the ball out of bounds, and it'll be a boundary throw in 70 metres around from Doncaster East goal.
It seems to be an interesting, there's a very close use of the ball between each other, but I think one of the things that stood out early is the one-on-one contested possessions. Donny East is clearly leading that. Spencer, good body work, pushes Clark out of the way, but his hand pass just goes to ground, and it's a free kick though, luckily, to his teammate there.
Bertoli Simmons, the hyphen.
Who's late in. He's spearing ball through the middle. It pierces Zerby's reserve, but White's the first to react and get back, and he shares it well as they will go out wide through McLeod. His kick is a bit indiscriminate, and it's been marked by an opponent at backline. So it's now Kemp,
shocker,
who went out wide to Colombo and it was out on the full. So just as Kemp had all the time in the world, he miskicks it out on the full.
Lukey McLeod across the half-back line here for Doncaster East. He's going, give me an option, boys. Said he's going to kick down the wing position. The big flyer by Shalakas. Oh, but in front, a strong jukes there was Kempy, who takes the mark. Sorry, in fact, it's Vanderhaar. He'll go back, and no one stood on the man on the mark. Shalakas let him go then, so he got an extra 10 metres, kicked it down towards the forward line where the skipper stands strong once again. He's having an all right game so far. Handballs as he plays on to Gordon. He'll want to be on that familiar left side. He does so. Switches it out wide. That's good play. Out to De Cesare. Out towards the big position. Here's Sezzy boy. Aaron Saravolo. He did well. He was slippery then. Got the handball back. They've linked up well here. Here is Locke. rock this way, that way, handball over the top across the half-forward line. They'll set sail for goal here. The kick goes right to the goal line. It might have gone all the way. Fantastic goal there that time by Santoro. Doncaster East get their second goal on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. We've gone 7 minutes in this first term.
Just happened again. Doncaster overcommit numbers to that initial contest, and Doncaster East are backing themselves, and they're getting out the front of the contest, Tyson, and got the overlap. So again, like I said, the Sharks seem to be going all right in general play. It's just little things where they're overcommitting.
Yeah, and I think the leg speed of Donny Lions at the moment is a real standout. They just can't seem to get to the ball first, Doncaster. So early in the game, I think that's just some pure speed. I wonder what their fitness is like going forward. Hopefully that's a little bit of an advantage to keep them sort of in the vicinity.
And just a quick around the grounds, Roval and Berwick have started at 110, and at half-time it's the Hawks 10-5-65 to Berwick 4-3-27.
Another centre clearance to the Lions, but in defence, good mark. Running with the flight of the ball was Wambaldi. He's called to play on quickly. It needs to be on, and it's Mahon who takes the mark at centre back.
I think that last goal was by Franklin, actually, Gav. Apologies.
Yep. No worries. We're just getting our bearings with some of the players here, as Simons, who's in the team, a late inclusion with 2 big outs for Doncaster East. That's a nice pass because it gave Monks the opportunity to run into space. Now he bounces up, turning to his feet. Hand pass on the bounce, gets to his teammate in Mahon. Mahan's kick goes on the bounce to Colombo, so they're not hitting their targets on the full. And now it'll turn over through Franklin. Franklin's got an overlap, and Shalakis has got it on the wing. One bounce, overlap, hand pass again into open spaces. Go Donny East. Shalakis might get on the end of it. It's the touch ball from the kick, but he'll line up from the pocket in the left, and he misses from 40, close to the boundary line. And it was a good play by Shalakis from half back to have the shot at 40 out. That was good running effort, but only a minor score on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. It's the Lions 2-1-13 to Doncaster, no score. Let's go boundary side for comment.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Just having a bit of technical difficulties down here, but just noticed a bit of rain so far. Very light at the moment, but might pick up later.
Thanks, Ryan, as the ball goes back inside through Clark. They're deep, Doncaster East, but Doncaster just have the numbers. So, last line of defence. Good afternoon to Brad Bird, listening in from Singapore this afternoon. There are previous finals special comments, man. Brush says hello as well, mate, as it comes out now. Appleby gets a handball away. As Samro, good switch up looking for Summers, but it's going to be a free kick to Doncaster East, and it will go the way of Jimmy Appleby.
Did anyone think, sorry, cutting off there, Ben, there was a frontal contact earlier on there on free kick that could have gone the way of the Sharks? I know I'm not going to get a yes from the far left.
I think cricket's answers your question, though.
Well, there you go.
James Appleby.
I'll give you some support, but not a lot.
The coach is right behind him here. He'll kick from 45 metres out. He's a sensational player, and he pushed it way right and through for a minor score. So they're doing all the peppering at the moment. Doncaster East, 10 minutes almost tick over on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 2-2-14, Doncaster yet to score. And it will be Nick Kempe to bring the ball back in for the Sharks. The Jesus headband, he'll just take off here. He'll kick towards the Brethren side, and he's coughed it up. He's straight down the throat of Green, who had the first shot on goal for Doncaster East in the first couple of minutes. He missed that one, and he will go back. We can see that distance shouldn't be too much of a problem here. He's got a few players running off for a link-up if he wants it. Trakulja was right there, so too Sammy Gold. But Jackson Green, this time we're right behind him.
Moley or just inside?
Comes in, he winds around, he gives it everything he's got. That's a powerful kick. Look at that, goes straight through the middle. 3 on the board now for the Doncaster East Football Club. They lead by 23-20 to Doncaster yet to score on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
They're dominating every stat that Brush has got here is for. 6 inside 50s, and they've already kicked 3 goals too. So they're making the most of it when it goes inside there as well, which is dangerous signs for the Sharks there, Tyson.
One of the things we highlighted before the game is we really wanted to see some higher tackle pressure from Doncaster. I'm not sure if Donny East have just getting rid of it so quickly that they don't have a chance, or whether Doncaster's just a little bit slow to the mark, but definitely haven't seen the tackle pressure we were hoping for just yet.
Spencer v Clark. Spencer finds good position, but they both miss going for the ball with their attention on each other, the rucks. So it's now a ground ball, which will be another quick ball up. The umpire wants to get involved. Spencer knocks it down forward centre circle, comes back to Clark's grasp, but he can't keep it in hand, as fighting for the ball is Mahon for Doncaster, and he's overwhelmed by a pack of players and has to hand it back to the umpire. We have it moved from the centre circle Fourth time the umpires got involved, but Spencer again, front position, and Clark can't. No, that's McKenzie this time, and McKenzie gets wrapped up by a tackle by his opposite ruck, and now they're quick to burst in the forward line where Spencer waits. One palming hand, couldn't get to the second bite. White hands it out, and it's not a picked up ball by Gordon, and it'll be out of bounds as the pressure by Doncaster finally came late after Spencer spilled the mark. Just Spencer didn't have clean hands there, and he didn't have a second chance as it got in front of him. Clark now gets some good body position, gets it off to White with the tap. White bundled as he kicks, but the ball goes in the middle. Heap of pressure on Doncaster East, but scrapping his Appleby does nicely. Gets it out to Seravola. His kick is smothered, so it's still at centre forward for Doncaster, and an over-the-shoulder tackle from Locke will give away a free kick to the Sharks, and picking himself up with the ball is Vickers. He'll look at options. It's a packed forward line from both teams, with the pass is a beauty to the leading option, and not breaking stride was Franz as he led into the right pocket, and he just took it on the chest 50 out.
Great kick there from Cole Vickers, but they got lucky there, Doncaster. Jake Whitling, who we identified at the start of the game is going to be key for the Lions, had no one on the outside of that stoppage. Jack Mann needs to work on his defensive pressure and get closer to him there. Right,
leaning arc. He puts it to the goals, and he puts it through, and Doncaster on the board in the derby. Doncaster 1 straight 6 trail Doncaster East 3-2-20. 13 minutes gone. Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
I'm going with Franz, actually, as Louis Franz.
What about Franz Ferdinand?
Huh?
Yeah. Goal from Fernie. Go on,
because there was only a war started after they...
I was making the band, not the Polish stick. Tyson's going to talk footy for us.
I don't even know if you want to hear it, boys. I was just going to say it's been nice to see Doncaster just the last couple of minutes show a little bit of anger. I like Colombo. I mentioned him at the start of the game. Boys got to get eyes on him. He's feisty. I like it.
High throws the ball off now. Spencer Clark got that knocked down. Ball hits the deck. We'll have a restart. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast today. It's Premier Division football at its best. On the SEN app, also on 98.1 Radio Eastern as it comes out. Serravolo just took off and he got tackled brilliantly there by Vickers. Umpire said play on. They'll link up through the middle here. They're under a bit of pressure. They took the advantage. Getting ripped down there was Patoli Simmons, and the free kick will go the way of the Lions. It goes out to D. Cesari, goes to Tommy Appleby in the middle with the painted arms on the left, up towards the half-forward line. He slammed it straight down Monks' throat, though. Couldn't hit his target in Sammy Gold. It was a 2-on-1 situation. Doncaster a chance to rebuild across the half-back line and switch the play here, and that's the way they'll go. They've got the numbers, they've got the spare man, they'll keep the ball moving, and that was a good kick too. It kicked up towards Andram Boldy, got spilled away, nicely done there by D. Cesari, and over she goes for a boundary throw-in.
I think the Sharks are going to rely on their kicking efficiency. So far, they've tried to take on some kicks like that one, and that one hit the target, but we also saw Nicholas Kent coming out of defence give Jackson Green a gilt-head opportunity. So if they can get their kicking efficiency up, they'll be fine.
High throws it in. It was a shallow one. Came through, charging through there was Green. Picked up there by Serravolo. Over the boundary line it goes. You can see assistant coach Anthony Moller in the picture in the background. Over the umpire. Throws it in. Charging there through. Oh, that was good play. Ramboldi had to cop it twice. He's going to get pinged as well. So Tommy Appleby, or who's going to snag this one? Lee Santoro. Winds around on the right boot now, kicks the ball deep into the Doncaster East forward pocket. Shalakas had one bite, went after it again, handball away. Summers around the body, snapped to the top of the goal square. He was looking for Sammy Gold, but in the end, Doncaster did have the numbers. Kick goes out, Colombo a long way from goals. In the back pocket for Doncaster, the Sharks. Looking for some options down the wing. The kick goes that way. White was in the perfect spot. He had support there in Gordon. Big man picked it up, and the big man was brought to ground. It's lucky he didn't get pinged almost there, and we'll have a ball up. True centre wing position out here at Zerbies. It's a 14-point lead to Doncaster East. 16 minutes gone first term.
Rucks go at it. It's half forward as the shuffled hand pass by Appleby gets onto the runs to Santoro. Santoro goes long. Contest for the ball at the top of the goal square. No mark taken. At the ground level, Shalakas close to the boundary line. Dodges his own shadow. Now he gets into open space. His kick smothered off the boot, and it's now a contested ball in the forward pocket for Donny East. Quick rush kick out by the Sharks. Gets it to half back. Who's going to be first to get there? Bouncing up with it is the the Lions, but they can't get out of the ruck of players, so it'll be ball up 60 metres out from Doncaster East goal. Clark is there, and he's got Appleby at his feet to work with. He pushes it forward and it goes over the bounds and not to Appleby.
Geez, Arami Ayubi still running around. He has put on some size over the summer, year and a half as well.
Good size or bad size?
Absolute tank he is.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Ben. Has Tom Gordon always been the defensive stalwart?
No, he's always played up forward.
I was going to say, Sam Rose just told him where to.
I think it's working well for them. Have a big tall who can read the play well down back. High throws it in. Clark, that was training drill stuff there. Kicks the ball inside forward, 50, big fly over the back. Will the ball stay alive? Shalakis overran it. Doncaster to get the relieving kick out, and he kicked it out towards the wing position where Clark just copped one for his troubles from Spencer. Didn't take the mark, but he'll take the free kick nonetheless. So, the big recruit, the big ruckman, pokes the ball towards the top of the goal square. It's going to be a 4-on-1 situation here. There was never any hope where that kick was going. Standing strong was Jimmy Monks for the Sharks, who takes the mark and then shanked the kick. Well, that was an absolute shocker by Monks. And over the boundary line it goes.
Again, they're creating good opportunities. Just got to kick better. When they've kicked well, they've actually opened up the lines pretty well. But they're just, they're playing in the Lions' hands.
Pye throws it in. Nicely done there by Rowe. Got the quick handball away. Appleby was brought to ground there. Linking up well. He's Green on the right boot. Will he squeeze it back? He can't. Minor score again. Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Boundary.
18 minutes gone. And it's Doncaster East. 3-3-21 to Doncaster 1 straight 6. Let's go down boundary side to Ryan Long.
Jared here, actually.
Jared,
so we've got Jack Spencer down here. He's been having his shoulder strapped for 7-8 minutes. He's just coming back on the ground, but definitely worth keeping an eye on whether that shoulder holds up.
Mackenzie in the ruck, but Doncaster got it in hand half back. Mackenzie's going to have to be involved as the hand pass flew out, but intercepting. Donny East might be on the rebound through Appleby. It bounces out to Franklin. Franklin dodging around, sharing it around. Ayubi, the big boy, gets it over to his teammate in Suravola. Now they're sharing it close to the boundary line. Appleby looks inboard as he's close to the boundary line, puts it out in front, and it misses the target in Clark, who lopes after it. And the ball that was 30 out, Clark chases it back to the 50 and knocks it out of bounds on the other side from where the kick came. So it's going to be a boundary throw-in. Just both sides missing all their targets.
It's interesting. I can see from Doncaster's perspective, the immediate pressure that the Lions are putting on them gives them almost an excuse to kick it poorly, but it's one area they're going to have to really tidy up if they're going to be able to get it down cleanly to their forward line.
So it's now Spencer back on the ground. He does the ruck contest and he's got his hands on his hips. So after that medical report, it looks like he's in some aggravation. And he'll go up against Clark. They're body to body. It's a good contest in the ruck, but it's Doncaster East winning all the territory battles. This time it won't break out of a pack. But at least the ruck aren't clearing that 1 metre radius.
No, right. Jake Spencer and Ewan have both done a good job so far. Doncaster have got one spare just sitting at the top of the square, but the line's out there and Tom Gordon's really sweeping as the last line of defence.
As Monks tries to kick it under a heap of pressure, but it does go out to Colombo.
Tommy Appleby's heard he's done a hamstring maybe.
As the ball was thrown out in the ruckus on the ball, and it's going to be a free kick go to Donny East, and it's going to be in the hands of Green. So Green looks to put it deep into the forward line. Clark's put himself coming in late with Summers. Ball hits the deck as the two almost knock each other instead of going for the ball.
Free kick goes against Summers.
Yeah, you're right, Ben. In terms of Tom Appleby there, he's walked straight to the boundary line. His head threw back. He knew exactly what he's done. He didn't try to push on. It looks like bad news for him.
We'll get Ryan and Jared to suss that one out as the kick goes down the wing position. Taking off to the races there was Colombo. Got the linking handball across there to his teammate in Monks on the right boot. Goes towards the forward pocket. He's kicked it out of bounds on the full. He's under a fair old bit of pressure there. Probably would have been the better option to kick it up into the top of the goal square.
Had no one there, unfortunately, because they're putting all their numbers back to try and negate the Lions. It's going to hurt them at the other end.
Probably still better than giving it away directly to the opposition. As it comes out now by Clark on the right boot, kicks it up towards James Locke, who's sported the long hair for so many years, and the year that everybody else has got it, he's gone, nah, I'm cutting it off. Let's go.
Long locks.
Let's cross down boundary side.
Yeah, so Tom Appleby looks like he's going to be out for the game. He looks pretty upset. It is the hamstring, as you guys called.
Thanks, guys. Next time, come back with some good news, will you? As the umpire throws it in over the back there. Nice little knock on there by Santoro. And bouncing, out she goes. Great scenes out
Boundary.
here. It's crossed out, back down boundary side.
Yeah, on the good news, it's cleared up. If that's what you want to hear.
Yeah, well done, Jared. That's good. Well done.
Umpire throws it in. It was a shallow one. Spencer had to go after it. Ball hits the deck.
So Tom Gordon's still just a loose man, but he's interestingly probably a kick and a half off the ball, not quite close up, but that obviously something Steve Buckle wants him to do. As you said, read the play well and sweep defensively.
Well, from the stoppage, Doncaster up towards centre half forward now. Big fist by Gordon over the back. That was worth a kick even. Whitling got the handball out wide. It was a risky one. Trakulja, he had to take it on the bounce. He got brought to ground by a strong Zalak tackle, and we will have a ball up. True centre wing position out here at Zerby's reserved. It's a grandstand side, right in front of where the past players stand. High throws it up. He is really on top, Spencer, in the ruck as he kicks, as the ball goes inside forward 50. Underneath at that time, here's Papa Constanta now. One of the club favourites, looping handball over the top. Chasing after it there was Green. Hasn't he been some sort of a player today and pick up? So over she goes for a boundary throw-in. Right in front of where the barbecue used to be. The Colonel's back on the grill. Apparently it's chorizo sausages, so have to sample those at some point in time as the umpire throws it in. Released at that time, charging after it again. There was Marn, got the little handball out. Falling over there was Liam Coughlin. The umpire said, we will have none of that. In fact, it was Hendon. Kick goes inside forward 50. They're kicking towards the pocket each time they're going inside, so it's really narrowing their chances. It's Doncaster East, another opportunity to go out. Rami, he took it on the second bite. And beautiful kick into the middle of the ground. Here's James Appleby. They're going to create the switch here as the kick goes out towards Sam Gold, who'll take it out in front. So they've worked the switch well here. Doncaster East as the kick goes inside forward 50. This is beautiful play all the way to Rogue. Got dispossessed of the football. Linking up well there though was Coughlin on the right boot. For Doncaster in the middle of the ground, taking it and then taking off there is Godden. On the left boot, he goes inside forward 50. Oh, brilliant mark. Vickers, the little man versus the big man, used his body nicely, and he'll go back and have a shot for Doncaster's second major. We've gone 24 minutes here in this first term.
Gav's saying Mark, I would have given that a push, but there you go. He's done well, Colby. He's been one of their best. That's probably the first time Tom Gordon's misread the fire of the ball though all day.
Yeah, really good contested mark. It's interesting. Each time it comes in, we do see that loose man in Tom Gordon back there, and they seem to be able to move it so effortlessly out of the back line. But that was a nice little change to the what we've seen so far.
Well, the hare won that time as he comes in now on the left. He gets very close to the man on the mark. The goal umpire does not move. That's a beautiful kick. Well, they've only kicked 2 goals, but they're kicking straight Doncaster, and just in the nick of time as well as we approach quarter time. Bendigo Bank scoreboard 3-3-21 the Lions, the Sharks 2 straight 12. Let's cross down boundary side.
Yeah, just noticed a bit of intense words between Sam Rowe and Jack Marn. Rowe seemed quite frustrated coming off.
Well, I like how Vickers, I think he only lent his hand into Gordon within 5 metres, but when a guy's 2 foot smaller, give him a chance. So that's what I like about the umpire. He said, little guy took a mark over the bigger guy, you can have it. So that's what I liked about that umpiring. Now in the middle of the ground, it's Simons bursting onto the ball. He takes on the tackler just as he had possession. He was fumbling the ball, and when he released the hand pass, it was too long, said the umpire, and the free kick will go to Santoro, who loads up a long ball outright. The numbers again with Doncaster. Fly comes in. Was it Franklin there who spills the mark, and mopping up was Coughlin for Doncaster. Gets to the wing where the advantage is with Spiteri. Now the ball spits out to Zalach. Zalach on the run, short pass, misses the target and Godden. There is also Vickers in the area, but it falls out to Gordon as the defence mops it up through White. Papa Constantinou. His kick under pressure has been turned over, and the numbers in the middle is all Doncaster. The kick was well weighted, got over some attention. got to Hendon. Hendon shares it out. Now they're sprinting forward. Doncaster's is in the hands of Simons, who looks ahead and sees all the options just get wrapped up. Short pass to Mann at half forward, close to the boundary line, is still there. Mann's got it. Looks at a packed forward 50 for Doncaster. High ball. Where's the high flyers? And they come. Doncaster couldn't get the mark as the hands went towards it, and the ground ball has been smothered by the pack in the pocket. So we'll have a ball up 20 metres out.
They've lifted the intensity, Doncaster, in the last few minutes.
Just lacking one big man there to just bomb it long to, though, weren't they?
Zalach had a good grasp, but he just couldn't bring it down with him. Ground level ball. Doncaster East. The quick kick will go out in the full, I reckon, as it's marked just inside the line by Doncaster. So same intention.
He's made it touched. He's marked the ball, though, umpire.
And it's going to be a mark to Monks, and the umpire's having a confab about what has happened. But let's just get on with it, because there's a player ready to take a kick.
No, he's saying he double grabbed. Double grabbed it.
Do we have to be this technical?
Let's look at the replay again if we can.
I'm on James Monks' side here, but if the umpire says it, the umpire says it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the way the game operates.
Yeah, the rule's a rule, but there was no. It's a mark. It's pretty simple.
Oh, well, power to the young fella for sticking by his call, though.
It's going to be on the full if it wasn't a mark, so it's got to be Doncaster's kick no matter what, but they lose out to a 50-50 contest. The ground level ball now is in Hendon's hands as it goes over Spencer's tap. And Doncaster, when they had ball in hand, now have to contest it at the forward 50. Spencer v Clark. Spencer again front position, and it's a shepherding against him. He's just in the position. The umpiring is really frustrating me in that 30 seconds, but I'll get over it.
Sounds like we've got a Doncaster supporter in the house.
Oh, I have to balance up, do I?
The kick goes in towards the middle. The Sharks will get another chance to go forward. Taking at that time was Kempy. Siren sounds to announce quarter timeout here at Zerby's Reserve. And Doncaster East, who got off to a flyer. You've seen the Sharks come back well there. And at quarter time, it's the Lions leading 3-3-21 to Doncaster 2 straight 12. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast this afternoon on the SEN app and, of course, simulcast on 98.1 Radio East. And there's 1 down, 3 to go. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
And you clearly got 4 minutes.
Jots from 53 inside 50s, down on clearances and can't lay a tackle. What was the seniors coach going to do? Jono surprised himself and everyone else. The spray he gave the boys at halftime worked. Well, he did finish it by saying he'd shout him a post-game feed and frothies at Eastland if they won. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland. Proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland. Live real.
Celebrate a season of stories at Eastland this autumn-winter and discover a style for any occasion and every member of your family. From romantic date nights to family outdoor adventures or a glamorous evening out on the town. Find your new season trend at over 350 of your favourite brands like MJ Bale, Rod & Gun, Maya and Uniqlo. Your new autumn-winter style is waiting at Eastland. Find out more at eastland.com.au. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner, broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman, or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or for some people, show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $255 a year on water and energy bills. Save the performance for the stage. Shower shorter. Save water.
With Bendigo Bank's new Complete Home Loan, you'll be completely taken care of. With a completely awesome rate. Complete offset on fixed and variable loans. And a home loan specialist completely dedicated to you. So if you're not completely sure about the Big Four, search Bendigo Bank Complete Home Loan or head into Bendigo Bank, the better big bank. Lending criteria, terms, conditions, fees and charges apply.
Hello, I'm Peter Hitchener. 9 News invites you to join our team nightly at 6 for Melbourne's #1 news. Tony Jones with the latest sport, including the footy, plus Lavinia Nixon's weather forecast. 9 News, proud supporter of the Eastern Football League.
You've all been to funerals of family members or friends, right? Do you start thinking about what you would want at your funeral? It's a bit like when you go to a wedding. At what stage do you start planning?
Have an open and honest conversation with your loved ones. Celebrate your life the way you want, like I did with a fixed price funeral plan from Tobin Brothers Funerals. The price doesn't change and your life will be celebrated your way. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner, broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman, or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
The senior coach has taken the team to 30. If only they had this kind of teamwork on the field. They've just ordered starters to share, plus frothies for the whole table. And now Steve-O's chucked a prawn to Macca. He's circled back. Yes! Straight into his pie hole. You beauty! Good form, boys. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland, proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland, live real.
All right, here we go. Putting your mics on.
Your footy.
And go.
Welcome back to Zerby's Reserve here. Premier Division action coming right at you from the Eastern Football Netball League. It's Doncaster East taking on Doncaster, and the Lions, Doncaster East, lead 3-3-21 to 2 straight 12. And they started red hot, Gav and Tyson, but the Sharks worked their way back into the game when their kicking skills started to warm up, and they started to find their spots around the ground and actually probably dominated the last 5 or so minutes.
Yeah, definitely. I think they may need to get more numbers to the contest because of their the way they're not hitting targets, because on the counter-attack, which they could expose Donny East on if they run forward of the ball, Donny East are allowed to run forward of the ball because they know Doncaster aren't hitting their targets.
Did you notice a bit of a change in the... I was going to say composure. Yeah, composure of the Donny team the last 5 minutes. They seemed to, with the extra touches that they were getting, a couple of goals or inside 50s at least, start to look as though they believed they actually belonged out there. They looked as though they were matching the Lions, the best I'd seen for the first quarter.
Yeah, well, there was one passage. I think Doncaster East are very good at getting numbers to the contest, and they move it around. As a good point there by Matt was, they can always just throw it around until into the open spaces, knowing that someone will run into the open spaces. Yeah. But Doncaster got to realise that the ball, if it throws out to that open space, it gives them a chance to catch them out on the rebound then.
Yeah.
But they're not hitting a target on the out.
Yeah, that's the thing. There were stages there in those first 15 minutes where Doncaster actually had good position, and like you said, they turned it directly over. Doncaster East's point of view, they want it close in tight. Zach Clark will give him first use of it, and then it's fire off as many handballs rapidly until someone's in the open, pretty much. And that's how they got 2 of their goals. Shalaka's happened to keep his feet and got the overlap, and there was a couple of plays in front of us which didn't end up in goals, but there was quick handballs, and then someone's out the front of the stoppage and they're free, and they're just backing themselves to win it. So if the Sharks can actually, they don't have to win the stoppages, but if, like you said, if they can bring, if they can lessen the impact the Lions have, try and negate it, if they can draw level in the stoppages, they're probably winning it around the ground. Monks has done a good job sitting in the hole. Vickers has been great when he's got his hands on the footy, and Jack Marn, whilst he looks like he could probably lose a couple more to add some running capabilities, he's a powerful man and has shown good foot skills. So there's signs there. They've just got to stop that stoppage king work.
One thing that Doncaster East did really well was get behind the ball when they didn't have possession, and they just closed the ground down. So Doncaster, when they turn it over, they've got to be able to transition into open space with clean skills.
Absolutely. We're going to go down the boundary side now with Ryan and Jared.
Hey, just with Steve Buckle, Doncaster East coach. Steve, pretty good quarter. The intensity was there. What was your assessment?
Yeah, look, we started well, but our ball movement became a little bit stagnant in the second part of that half, and look, we're starting to get a few injuries at the moment. It looks like we might have lost Tommy Apps for the game, possibly Sammy Rowe. He's going to give it a go in this quarter, see how we go. But we've just got to start taking a few more risks from our back half and get that ball movement going quick. But yeah, like I said, we started really well. We've just got to get back to that again.
Thanks, Steve. All the best for the rest of the game.
Well done there, Ryan, and good to see, Gav, that Steve agrees with us, that they started really well and faded out. Just some scores around the grounds that will filter through as they go on. But Premier Division, Norwood lead 2-2 to 3 behinds. Vermont lead 3-5 to Nova Parks 1-1. And Rowville look like they're going to get their first win. They started early against Berwick and they're up by about 10 goals, probably heading into the fourth term now. So a few surprising things, and Norwood Ball, and looks like it's going to be close, if not high scoring.
It's crossed down boundary side to Jared. To Jared Beanland.
Hello. Yeah, so Stuart Kemperman, he was pretty happy in the first quarter with their transition and the way that they held the structure. It was just that their skills let them down just with the ball. Generally a very positive vibe from the Doncaster group, however.
Once again, looks like the coaches are listening to us, Gav, and Jared doing well there on debut. So, I don't know, Ben, let's take it away for the second quarter and see what the Lions have got for us.
Dan Beard holds the ball aloft. Doncaster East kicking to the scoreboard end this time. Jimmy Appleby got the handball out. They've linked up well here. Green on the left boot, inside forward, 50 spearing kick, but it's gone nowhere, and the mark has been taken by Kempy, who's had a good game so far for Doncaster. The number 7 kicks it out towards the ruckman, who were the leading targets on the wing position. At the fall, the ball nicely done there by Trakulja, got the handball back. They kick it up towards the half-forward line, getting down low with Jakey Summers on hands and knees. Picked up there by Shalakas. He's slippery. He might kick this. Jackie Shalakas goes towards goal. He pushes it across the right-hand side, through for 1 behind. And Doncaster East, it only took them 30 seconds to get on the scoreboard here in the second term. That's their 4th blemish, 3-4-22 to 2 straight 12.
Long ball out from the kick out, goes to half-back. That's an enormous kick after he runs out of the square, but it's been turned over. Papa gets a hand pass forward of the ruckus. It goes into Ayubi, who falls to the ground under the heaps of pressure, and it's now grasped by Simons, who takes the relieving step over the line and out of bounds.
Division 1 scores coming through. East Ringwood up by just a goal early on against Park Orchards. Mooroolbark by 3 points over the Devils, and Upper Gully by 4 points over Mitcham.
So it's about 70 metres from goal for Doncaster East. They lead on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard by 10, 3-4 to 2-0. Oh, man did that really well. He roved off the tap and he just dropped his shoulder into the tackler, and Clark did take him over the shoulder to give him a free kick. Now the kick from half-back to half-forward goes to Spencer, who ran forward of that last contest. So he's making good space for his teammates. Takes a mark. Long ball with his wobbly right foot. Gets it to full forward. Numbers there for Doncaster East. Sharked ball by Simons. He can't bring it with him as there's a huge amount of tacklers waiting for him. And be a ball up 40 metres out from Doncaster's goal.
Division 2 scores. South Belgrave trailing Baronia by 2 points, 22 to 20, and Mulgrave lead Templestowe 1-6 to 1 straight.
Spencer in good position again. Clark goes for the run and gets over the top, but it's a free kick against in the ruck contest. So the umpire's getting involved in these contests at the ruck, and it was Spencer this time who had front position, but Clark's running jump was said to be an over the shoulder.
Yeah, and just before again, we'll try and get some more scores in Division 3. East Burwood trail Glen Waverley 15 to 7. Waverley Blues and Ferntree Gully, it's 2 points, 27-25 Ferntree Gully, and Warrandyte lead Whitehouse by 34.
Spencer last time it was wobbly. This time it's a less wobbly, but he's hooked it from 50 and he's missed the left side. So it's a minor score. This time Spencer does get on the scoreboard with his kick. It's 2-1 to 13. Doncaster trailing Doncaster East 3-4-22. 3 minutes gone. Second term. That is the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Tom Gordon to bring the ball back in for the Lions. Short options onto Green. Straight down his throat. Jackson Green kicked a goal in the first term. Goes to Jake Whitling. Swing around on that familiar left. And kick it up towards the ruckman again. So Spencer and Clark go at it. Oh, big fly over the back there by Jakey Summers. Eyes only for the football. That was a good mark. Strong Dukes. Wearing the white boots. Just pokes it up towards the half-forward line. Shalakas is in the front spot, but over the back, a strong grab there by Liam Coughlin. He'll wind around now on the right boot. Good hit up too. Almost spilling at that time was Hovenden. On the right boot now, kicks it up towards the middle of the ground. Went straight down the throat of Papa, but he couldn't quite hold the mark. On hands and knees, they get the handball out wide. Gordon's moved up towards the wing. He chipped it over the top, though. And a few forced errors there, or unforced errors there by both sides as it comes out now. Big ruckman for Doncaster kicks it up towards the half-forward line, and once again they've coughed it up. Here's Locke on the right boot, spearing pass into the middle. Clark just get it away to Locke. Little handball, bouncing football. It's going to sit up okay here for Ceravolo. 55 metres out, he kicks it towards the road direction. It was knocked away from him. Roving nicely there with Shalakis. Little handball to Summers. Summers had a fresh air shot in the end. Maybe got a push. The umpire said play on. Malloy was in there for Doncaster. He's wrapped up. We'll have a bounce only 5 metres out from the Doncaster East goal line.
Boundary.
Well, we'll go boundary side quickly then before that.
Yeah, Andrew Amboldi right then. Fantastic couple of efforts to spoil the ball and then follow up with the tackle. I thought that was great.
Well, there you go, Jared. You absolutely read my mind. And that's what that's what we've all been asking for here, isn't it? The intensity to lift from the Sharks, and they've brought that. Just some Division 4 scores before we get back to the action. Coldstream by 28 points over Kilsyth. Forest Hill by a similar margin over Nunawading. Churnside look like they're going to get their first win in almost 3 years. They're 66-8 over the Kangaroos. And Surrey Park leads Sylvan by 2 goals.
The kick by Doncaster, straight down the middle it goes, and there's a good mark taken there by Simons on the right boot. They're going the fastest way home, which is Colombo on the right boot. He'll kick it low, he'll kick it straight, no, into the pine. It goes. That was some fast bit of play end to end out here, and it's a small ground, Zerbies, probably the smallest in Premier Division football. And 1 point is the result. Bendigo Bank scoreboard, 9 points is the margin here. They've coughed it up. Doncaster East on the kick in. Will the Sharks get the numbers? They do. It comes out. Here's that man, Ramboldi, as well. Favourite son of Doncaster, brought to ground. Just got away with it. I'm not too sure if that was legal. Papik and Stanton now. Little handball out wide. That was okay. Good, strong tackle there by Jimmy Appleby to force the ball onto the ground. Kempy is in there too. And the umpire will eventually come in and restart this right in front of us here, right in front of the brethren of Doncaster East. I love standing on that wing position. Whitling got the handball out, looking for support. And the intensity's there, and the tackling pressure is fantastic by the Sharks as well. Umpire to restart it. In the front spot there, Spencer took it straight out of the ruck and was wrapped up. Isn't that holding the ball?
No, not out of the ruck. You're allowed to do that. No prior opportunity when you're rucking.
Fair enough. The knockdown, that was as good as a throw, but right there.
Spencer's really using his body. He knows Zach Clark's more mobile. He's got a better leap, and he's probably got better, hit
He's
hands.
playing really smart.
Isn't he? He's just using his body.
Spot on. High starts it again. Spencer got the knockdown into the arms there of Zalak, up towards the full forward line, getting underneath it. There was Pappa and Stanton now, and Colombo kicked a goal, but the umpire's going to bring it back. It's going to be a free kick to Pappa.
McKenzie takes his eyes off the ball if you watch it.
Yeah. It's the only reason it went to Colombo, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, takes his eyes off the ball and goes through Pappa there. Who's been getting a good spots, Pappa Constantin now. He's probably just dropped a couple, but he's getting in the right spots.
And
that's
Pappa,
the boss. Sorry, mate.
Well, he's still almost dead. That's
a good point. He's got a breathing problem.
It was an inside-out torpedo.
Just in the wrong part of the ground.
60 metres out from the Doncaster goal line.
So it's an enthralling contest. Spencer likes to get the front position, knowing about Clark being slightly taller and agile. Knock again by Spencer to ground level. It's Hendon's ball smothered because it's a big pack around the contest, and it goes under hands and feet for a ball up. Just 55 metres out from Doncaster's goal. Again, rucks go at it. Spencer taps it, goes out to a running flanker, bouncing off his Monks. The tackle flies in from Hendon, and it's great tackling from Doncaster, but once they get the ball, it's a fantastic relieving tackle from Doncaster East defender.
Sam Gold and Monks collided there. Sam Gold's run off like he's just sort of brushed past the tree, and Monks is absolutely gone.
So Mahon applied the tackle for Doncaster. I flipped the sides there, sorry about that, and it's Mahon. It goes towards Spencer, but Clark, good body position, as Spencer was just like a tree, still in the forest, and Clark just ran around him and got front position to take the mark. So Clark kicks a long dumping ball to Summers. He's good body position. He gets out of the marking contest to run onto it, but the pressure just comes off his knee after he's held actually as he's running away from Coughlin, and it went out of bounds off his trailing foot, but he'll get a free kick for holding on the wing. So it's Summers. who's got it in hand. A long ball inside, just goes in hope to a leading option. No mark taken by Rowe, but ground level ball, hand passed out to Locke outside 50. He's taking his time. You don't have all day, and he's got tackled to the ground and comes back to Locke, as he must have hand passed in the tackle, but his quick kick goes around the corner. It's marked by Monks in defence. Monks' transition ball might not have hit the target in Valkenburg. If Valkenburg can beat his opponent in Cesare to the ball, but he taps it out and it's out of bounds on half-back.
A little bit of frustration brewing amongst the Lions at the moment, maybe rightly so. They seem to have the ball but not be able to use it as effectively as they would like. Tackle pressure's definitely lifted from Doncaster as well, which is probably only adding to their frustration.
Do we know what is exactly wrong with Sam Rowe? Have we heard? I don't know if Jared and Ryan could probably find exactly what's wrong with him.
So Clark takes it out knowing that you got free go at it to kick, and Clark said there's a dangerous trip, and it'll go to Vanderhaar at half back, who got onto the ball, got taken his feet from underneath him. His kick out wide to Monks, who's been a great player. He got pushed as he tried to mark it, and it's Summers who'll give away the free kick, and it's Monks who's been going from half back to half forward. He's now going to switch. It's a long ball across the centre square, and the late tackle in by Clark dispossesses the marker in Vanderhaar and stops the momentum.
Taking risks those last two kicks, they've gotten away with them just.
Well, I think Clark, if he was any quicker, might have got to Vanderhaar before he marked it, but the long ball to centre forward. Mackenzie underneath it, can't take the mark. Ball's bobbling around, comes to Kempy on the fly from 50, puts it across goal, and it bounces out of bounds at left pocket. And Doncaster are playing a bit of territory and finding players in the open. Let's go boundary side for a quick comment.
Yeah, just on Sam Rowe, looks to be a bit of a hamstring at the moment. He's pretty much staying just inside the forward 50, so wouldn't expect him to run too much, pretty much on just the one leg.
So again, Spencer against Clark. Spencer tries to open it up, palms it into the middle of the forward 50 for Doncaster. Hand pass comes out. Santora's under a heap of pressure. We're leaving hand pass to Gordon sometime on the last line. His kick is rushed though, and there's a mark to Doncaster. Ramboldi in good body position, just kept his opponent away from it, and he took a chest mark 50 out from goal.
Well done to Ramboldi, but that's Chris Colombo there. We can see on the replay screen his pressure on Tom Gordon, just like you said there, Gav, hurried the kick, and usually Tom Gordon hits people on the chest, and that way under pressure, and it's given the Doncaster Sharks a chance to kick their third.
And they're definitely in the contest now. They've worked out a bit of a game plan, getting their way forward with some system. Ramboldi, with the pressure applied, has got a kick at goal from 50, gets onto his right foot just to get some metres, and he really hasn't got it. It was like his foot was lead and the ball was a balloon, and it just popped into the pocket for no score. And it's going to be a free kick for holding for the defence, and it's a good free kick going the way of Seravola.
It was Jimmy Appleby slammed it down Gordon's throat, who kicked it up towards...
coming back off the ball.
I thought Appleby was out for the game.
No, there's two of them. And Colombo's copped one to the chest by the looks of it off the ball. Dan Beard spotted it from the centre of the ground, and it looks like the way they're going to James Appleby, you probably know more about the two blokes. I doubt Papa would have that in him, would he, Ben?
So what are you saying, sorry?
Well, I'm saying that Colombo's clearly been hit off the ball, and Dan Beard's come in from the centre circle to pay a free kick, but James Appleby's running off now, which to me indicates he might have been the perpetrator. It's all alleged because I didn't actually see it. I just saw Dan Beard.
So I can't really comment.
I'm just saying Papa was the other one near it, but Papa doesn't strike me as the kind of guy to throw one to the guts.
There's no Doncaster rim. They're not really going that hard at anyone, so maybe they just think it's just a jab, and they're happy to get the free kick. They're not really roughing anyone up. So.
No, exactly. So Dan Beard spotted it though, eagle-eyed. Teacher by trade and umpire on the weekends, Tyson, so he's got eyes everywhere.
And he's really enjoying the whistle today. There's Colombo. We're right behind him here. He'll put this through. He's a class act. Comes in now and spears it through. Doncaster have their third on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. They inch within 3 points of the Lions as we cross the 13-minute mark of this second term on EFL game day.
He just makes the opposition nervous, Colombo. He's fast, he's a little bit sneaky. I've seen him mouthing off a bit, and you know what? He actually looks like he's been in the gym a bit, so he's got the ultimate combination of weapons. Not surprised he's got...
He went the double cobra there too. He must have definitely been in the gym.
He's done very well, and his kicking skills have backed it up. Nice to see him hit the scoreboard for a goal there. That was nice.
So they've definitely they've bought the heat this quarter, haven't they, the Sharks, and it's paying dividends for them. Let's see if the Lions can respond. They're undermanned. Tommy Gordon's going in the ruck, so they're throwing it around.
Gordon Well, Spencer went up unopposed really that time. It comes down, Locke got the handball away. Here's Ceravolo on the right boot, pushed it wide, pushed it a little too wide in the end. Swinging around, Trikulja goes backwards. Down towards Summers, who takes it on the chest. It looked like it was touched just before it hit him on the tit. The umpire did pay that in the end. Ceravolo mops up over the boundary line. She goes for a boundary throw in.
We said this before the game, but for such a big fella, Jakey Summers is a great runner. The engine on him is really impressive. He's matching it with a lot of the midfielders. He's having a really good game. He's
got very powerful legs.
Yeah, I wouldn't fight him.
Throws it in. Gordon got the front spot. Spencer got the handball away, turned into a fresh air shot. The double team situation by Doncaster East sees a free kick going the way of Marn.
Him and Tony Gordon just having an intimate moment there on the wing.
Gets the handball away. Here's Hendon, wearing the famous Benny McGarnis number 7, as a kick goes in towards the middle of the ground now. They just probably need some luck a little bit, the Lions here, because it's not going their way. Here's Ramboldi, got it away to Hendon, snap inside forward 50, nobody's home. The skipper of Doncaster East, Simon White, takes the mark. The general that he is, thumps the ball out towards the wing position. It was a fair option to a big fly there by Van der Haar, and he pulls it down, an absolute ripper right in front of the Doncaster East dugout, just to stick it up him as it goes back down towards Marn, who slams it down the throat that time there of Spiteri, who dropped what he probably should have taken. Whitling looping handball over the top. Ceravolo gave the don't argue handball over the top. That's working out well. Here they go in. Reynolds through the middle of the ground, straight down the throat of Andrew Boldy, who is having some sort of a second term. There's no doubt about that. On the right boot, kicks the ball inside forward 50 now. The big fly by Spencer over the back. Who's going to be at the fall of the ball? The umpire, Dan Beard. They all looked at him. It's almost like they expected him to blow the whistle. He's blown it that much as he comes in, and he'll throw it up about 45 metres out from goal. Making the front spot, Spencer, and almost best on ground, Spencer. The ball hits the deck, and it's still inside the forward arc for the Sharks, who could hit the front with the next major. It's only 3 points to margin here. 16 minutes gone, second term. An easy tap down. Came out to Hendon, and he's quickly met, and we will restart it all again.
It's like roles reversed in this quarter, Tyson. The Sharks in the first quarter couldn't hit any targets, and now the Lions, with a little bit of luck, probably could have, probably a further lead in this game. But the last 5 minutes coming out of defence, they've just been hurry kicks, and there's been a lot of intercept marks across the centre corridor.
Here with blood rule with Hendon will be coming off, maybe.
So it'll be interesting to see how the Lions respond. If they maybe Simon White, so much experience, might just slow the game down next time he gets a chance and let the momentum fizzle out for the Sharks.
Spencer knocked it down. Nicely done there by Zalach, but he was quickly met. Now here's White on the right boot. Kicks it up towards the half-forward line. It's an open space, but it's picked up by Coughlin, who dummied back and then got the kick up towards centre half-forward for the Sharks. Bouncing football. Once again, it's kick to kick as it comes out. Lukey McLeod in towards the middle of the ground, and he spots up James Appleby on the right boot now. Switches the ball out wide. They're struggling to hit the targets. Doncaster East pretty sloppy. Trikulja, will he keep the ball alive? He did very well. He spun on a throb too on the right boot. Kicks it up towards the road direction.
Stone him.
Fantastic it was, and he'll have a shot on goal from about 30 metres out, almost directly in front.
What do we know about Mitch Stoneham? Ben, a new player to the club. There you go, must be. So they're getting around him. What a great effort that was there. Second, third efforts, and then a wobbly ball onto a man on one leg.
Cammy Rowe. He looks ginger. He really does look ginger. That's why I think he even just looked to give the handball off then. On the right boot, kicks it straight over the goal umpire's head. No mistake. Breathing space again for Doncaster East. That's his second. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, the Lions lead 4-5-29 to Doncaster 3-2-20.
Boundary.
Cross down boundary side.
Yeah, Kane Hendon, he seemed to cop a finger to the eye or something like that. The doctor's just been checking him out. He seems okay. Nothing really to worry about, I don't think.
Well, it obviously wasn't a blood rule because he balled...
Well, you'd hope he's not bleeding from his eye, no.
Well, also, the umpire didn't stop play for him to leave the field.
That's a good point.
I don't see any blood, to be honest. It might have just been there initially.
Thanks, Jared.
So back in the middle, that's a relieving goal for Doncaster East. They've soaked up a lot of pressure in this second quarter. As we tick past 18 minutes in the second term, they lead back to 9 points for the Lions. But it's again Mahon bursts his way through, takes on a couple of tackles, and it's Appleby who gets the rebound off the Mahon. His kick was dropped inside the forward line. The Lions have got some good numbers around the ball. It spills out to Whitling. Whitling tries to spin around and gives it off to Franklin, who takes on the tacklers and dispossessed, holding the ball as he had prior opportunity. And Doncaster's tackling has stepped up in this second term. This time it's Vanderhaar, not just a high flyer, was playing very good across half-back, and he goes from one half-back point to the next. Ramboldi, all on his own, takes the mark, Pavilion side. His short passes pinpoint to his teammate in Coughlin, who leads up to him. Another short on, ignored for a longer option.
Beautiful
in
kick.
Good position, in between two. And Obi was a bit late with the spoil, apologised to Monks, because Monks was like, oh, do I play football or go and hit him? And he decides he'll go with the ball, and he'll kick it. Lonnie, a big mark! And it's taken by the goal kicker from the first term, and I call him Franz. You can call him what you like after he takes a mark like that.
It was more than a little bit late just down here in front of us, wasn't it? I thought it was about 4 seconds late before he copped that hit in the back of the head.
So Franz has got it from 40 metres out. He's put it left post, and it's actually going more left, and he misses from 40 metres out. Minor score for Doncaster. Doncaster 3-3-21, trailing Doncaster East 4-5-29. Second term, we approach time on.
Got to kick those.
Yeah, for such a still day, there's been a lot of behinds, hasn't there? There's not a breath of wind out here, and still plenty of behinds being kicked.
Yeah, it's they're the ones that really let you down as the kick comes out. Is Appleby, the older of the two Applebys, on the right boot. Kicks it up towards the wing position. In the front spot, Monks, who's had a good game for Doncaster. Copped one for his troubles. Couldn't pull down the mark, but won the free kick nonetheless.
You just wonder if he's got his head's a punching bag or something.
Monks winds around now on the right. It's a big kick, a big fly there.
He leapfrogged
big fly by the Ewan McKenzie. And Pi's going to ask for it back here.
If he had stayed up there for 4 more seconds, he would have been a chance of marking that.
4?
Took a while for that.
Keep going.
They had to clear the flight path for him.
Would have brought the house down, Frankie. There's kick come now for the way of Rami Ayubi, who couldn't quite pull the mark down and then copped one in the back.
I think Monks might have been getting even there.
Yeah, it was. It was. That wasn't necessary either, but they never are, the undisciplined ones. So Rami will kick it up towards the Shalakas area. It was a 3-on-1. Comes out now. Here's Jake Summers, kicks it in towards the Sam Rowe direction, who worked his way to the front nicely, the big man, and will go back for a shot at his third.
Great work by Sam Rose, doing very well on one leg, and everyone's running past because he clearly doesn't want to kick it.
Yeah, he's looking for a handball. Yeah. And it's Baron Boldy's that close, it could almost be 25.
But right here, Jack Shalakas was on Jake Spencer, and Coughlin and Kempy both came across, spoiled him. Doncaster East had all the men on the ground, and it's ended up with a shot at goal. So really over-committing again.
He's got 2, he's got 3. Great goal there, Sammy Rowe. And Doncaster East just get that extra bit of breathing space now, because you get the feel at 22-minute marks this second quarter that Doncaster have had most of the play.
Just watching Rami Ayumi give it to James Monks out there was a little bit of a chat going on after that late hit a couple of minutes ago. I think he's just letting him say, giving him a little thank you for that goal.
Well, Rami's a live wire on and off the field, so he's always got plenty to say. But yeah, that's 2 goals now that have come from the Sharks overcommitting. One was in the first quarter, they overcommitted to the stoppage, and on that one there, they overcommitted in the air and left 2 Lions players down on the ground. Gav, when Spencer had it written all over, he was on Shalakas, he probably would have won it in the air.
Ground ball taken by Simons, roved the ruck contest, and he gets the centre clearance deep into the forward line. Tricula is deep in his defence, tried to hand it off when he may have just wanted a dumping kick out of sight. 50 as a better option, and a free kick will go against the tackler.
No, I think it's going to
it's going to Simons, who's mopped up his own centre clearance to get to the next contest.
He's also been good in the contest too. He's been liking to give the fend off, which, a couple of times has been caught, but he's offered a good inside player today.
So it's Simons, who's had a good quarter from the boundary line, 50 metres out, right side. He puts it long, and the goal umpire's just gone to his left late. It just must have swept away late there because the goal umpire was doing a bit of backward spin dance, and he then signals a minor score. It's Doncaster East 5.
Templestowe's around the corner, mate.
I know. Doncaster East 5-5-35.
Do you want me to check that score for you again?
Doncaster 3-4-22. Someone has to.
Gordon to Appleby to Shalakas, takes it on the second bite. Swings around now. On the left, spearing kick as well. Couldn't hit his target out in front that time was Van der Haar for the Sharks. He did well to force the ball towards the boundary as it comes out now. De Cesare kicks it inside 450. Summers to the front spot. Good jukes. Jakey Summers is strong as an ox and he takes the mark and he'll kick from just outside the 50. So Jake Summers have his first shot on goal. And if they kick this, they're going to half-time full of confidence, Doncaster East. Kicking down the hill in the third term. So Summers, certainly not in any hurry. Only off 2 steps, floats it towards the forward pocket. Nobody's home except for Colombo, who takes a strong mark. The ball really held up then, but he only took 2 steps.
Why is that?
I have no idea. I'll find out for you. As it kicks it up towards a wing position as Gordon comes over the top and knocks it straight over the boundary line and out.
It's a set shot. You can do what you like. Why is he only doing 2-step kicks?
Maybe he likes doing that. Norwood 27, Baldwin 24 late in the second quarter.
No, right in front of us here on the broadcast position. Bit of holding happening there. Spencer could have got it. Colombo was there, got the handball away to Vickers. Shrugged off the tackle, did well on the left boot. It's a 2-on-1 situation as the kick goes up towards Franz and the ball gets knocked over the boundary line. But it will be Franz to have a shot. Who I think he can kick this distance, to be honest. From 55.
He's got to start it right, out to the right though. He's hooked every one of his kicks. Just like a little bit of a hook, not a horrible shank. So
this time he goes for the percentage kick, kicks it up towards Mackenzie at the ball. The ball that is beautifully done by Hendon. That's how you rove it front and centre. Doncaster get the answer they were looking for. 26 minutes almost ticked over in this second term out here at Zerby's Reserve on EFNL game day, and it's the Sharks trailing by 7 points. Doncaster is 5-5-35. Doncaster 4-4-28.
That's 2 goals now that the Sharks have got this quarter from ill discipline. We didn't exactly see what happened off the ball to Colombo earlier in the quarter, but we assume it was ill discipline to get the free kick. And then this one in front of here, the down the field, I think it was Sam Gold just hitting Vickers a tiny bit late. We didn't quite see it, so we're going to go with the umpire's call, and it's turned into another Sharks goal.
It was Gold, and he was definitely late. Rucks go at it. This time Spence again wins it, and again Simon's there to rove it, but he just couldn't pick it up and had to apply a tackle. And it's going to be a ball up, still at the centre circle of Zerby's Reserve. 35 plays 28. Doncaster East lead Doncaster. Now trying to sprint through is Doncaster East on the burst. Whitling, long ball to Rowe. He's got good body position and he's too strong. Even on one leg, he's just outpointing his opponent in Moylan, and that's his 3rd mark against him. And he'll have a shot from about 30 metres out.
Moylan will almost be half his weight. He just can't beat him.
So he's looking for a hand pass. The last time he had a shot at goal, Shalakas was standing against next to the man on the mark and he wanted a hand pass to him. But he kicked straight every time. So it's an injured leg, but it's still a true kick. And this time he pops it and it goes straight over the goal umpire's hat for another goal. It's his 4th 3 and he was tempted. Steve Buckle wanted to pull him off the ground because he's injured. And now he's kicked 4 of 6 goals. Doncaster East 6-5-41, leading Doncaster 4-4-28, 27 minutes gone, second term. Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
I'd hate to think what he could do when he's 100%. If he's kicked 4 straight and he's only got 1 leg and he can't lead. So if he can get back to full fitness in the coming weeks, he's going to be a handful.
What they're doing well is they're opening up the 50 for him. So each time it's coming in more or less to a one-on-one contest, and the big man wins out. As the kick goes up towards the half-forward line, Bruce agrees with me. As it comes out to Sammy Gold, who copped a knee to the head. It was accidental
because he fell in.
He just slipped at the wrong time, unfortunately for Sam.
Liam Coughlin, he's as tough as Sammy Gold. Spears the pass inside forward 50. But
Vanderhaar takes the mark as the siren sounds to announce half-time out here at Zerby's Reserve. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast today on the SEN app and 98.1 Radio Eastern, but it is a 13-point lead to the home side. Doncaster East 6-5-41 with 4 goals to Sam Rowe, while to Doncaster they are 4-4-28. Well, there's one half down, there's one half to go. Keep the scores coming through all afternoon via social media and Twitter, because we need to let everybody know what's happening around the East as you go local for your footy. Stay with us. We'll be back after this with the second half. Well, I don't think that we are going to a break out here. So see the players coming off the field. Doncaster East and Doncaster today. 13 points is the margin. And it'd be nice if someone else put a headset on just to, let's talk a little bit about the game. Otherwise, people are just going to hear me talking to myself. So Doncaster East make their way off the pavilion. Welcome to your own world. Well, I can sing a song if we like. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what's happening back at the studio, but we should be breaking here. But nonetheless.
Well, what do you think of the? Do you think there's the rivalry is permeating through this game, Ben? Because they are so local that they're close neighbours. But
there'd be very few players that had played in a Doncaster East derby.
Yeah, exactly. Today. So is it coming at from some of these late bumps and late hits? Has it got any fire in the belly, this contest, you reckon, because of the rivalry aspect that we imply?
Look, I think that there's tradition there, but there's tradition there, but I don't really think so, to be honest.
But I just think the tackling and pressure that Doncaster applied actually amped up the physical contest, and a lot of these missed kicks are actually meaning that there has to be body contact applied, because it's not a given that it's going to be a free-flowing passage of play. So I think the body contact's coming in, if not unintentional at the start, just because the ball's spilling around. And the only reason Doncaster, their transition hasn't resulted in goals because they can't hit the targets. But whereas Rowe took 3 marks in that second term, based on turnover balls, bit of process going forward for Doncaster East, and just isolating Moylan, the smaller player on Rowe, has worked effectively to take back the lead for Doncaster East. What do you reckon of that, Ben?
So we're going to go to an ad break now, and on the other side of this...
I think we'll go to an ad break.
Yeah, we're going to go to... Well done, guys.
Only 19 shots from 53 inside 50s, down on clearances and can't lay a tackle. What was the seniors coach going to do? Jono surprised himself and everyone else. The spray he gave the boys at halftime worked. Well, he did finish it by saying he'd shout him a post-game feed and frothies at Eastland if they won. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland, proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland, live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner, broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman, or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or for some people, show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $255 a year on water and energy bills. Save the performance for the stage. Shower shorter. Save water.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Hello, I'm Peter Hitchener. 9 News invites you to join our team.
Okay, Ray's ready to go.
News. Tony Jones with the latest sport, including the footy, plus Lavinia Nixon's weather forecast. 9 News, proud supporter of the Eastern Football League.
You've all been to funerals of family members or friends, right? Do you start thinking about what you would want at your funeral? It's a bit like when you go to a wedding. At what stage do you start planning?
Have an open and honest conversation with your loved ones. Celebrate your life the way you want, like I did with a fixed price funeral plan from Tobin Brothers Funerals. The price doesn't change and your life will be celebrated your way. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
At Eastland, we believe one day isn't enough to celebrate all that our beautiful mums do. That's why we're celebrating Happy Mother's Days, the festival of love she deserves. From dining to fashion, homewares or a pampering session, Eastland has all your favourite brands ready to spoil mum. And if you need inspiration, check out our online gift guides. Spend $250 and you'll go in the running to win a $50 Eastland gift card till May 8th. T's and C's apply. Find out more at eastland.com.au. Eastland, live real.
1 minute.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner, broke a finger high-fiving the ruckman, or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wantirna.
The senior coach has taken the team to Eastland for a post-game feed. If only they had this kind of teamwork on the field. They've just ordered starters to
30
for the whole table. And now Steve-O's chucked a prawn to Macca. He circled back. Yes! Straight into his pie hole. You beauty! Good form, boys. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland. Proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland, live real.
Let's head back and go local.
All right, mic's on.
Yes, welcome back to Zerby's Reserve here for the Premier Division clash between Doncaster East and Doncaster. At the moment, it's half-time here, and Doncaster East are on their way to winning their first ever game in Premier Division. They're 6-5-41 off the back of Sam Rose, 4 goals on 1 leg, and Doncaster are 4-4-28, and they've shown a bit, especially in that second quarter. Now, a member of the media team that's usually ever present with us is Ray Baird. He's been here since the dawn of time, but unfortunately for Ray, he chose to go to Perth at the wrong time of year. He's actually, I think, stuck in hotel quarantine at the moment. Ray, have we got you there, mate?
Yeah, I certainly have, Matty, and it's great to talk to you, but not very happy under these circumstances, mate.
Absolutely, mate. And you've obviously, you've been out and about, for your hour of exercise, and then you've been cuddled up inside watching the game. What are your thoughts so far on the first half?
Well, look, the first half, I thought it was... The first and second quarter were very similar, except that Doncaster East had the advantage in the first quarter, but then Doncaster came out in the second quarter and controlled most of the quarter. But look, I do think that in that first quarter, Doncaster, they got plenty of guys around the clearances, but none of them were working hard enough. And look, Donny East certainly controlled the clearances, but look, they fought back in that second quarter. I don't think Steve Buckle would be very happy with that second quarter, although they did come home towards the end of it with a couple of goals, but a couple of little undisciplined plays there that went against them. But all in all, look, it's been probably not the best game of footy to watch, but I've been impressed with the way that when Donny East move the ball, they certainly move it well.
Exactly right. Davis is here with me, mate, and he's got a question for you, Ray.
Hey, Ray, it's Davis. What do you find in terms of perspective that sort of sitting on sitting down and watching it on a laptop or TV screen offers versus actually watching it at the ground? It must offer something different, even though you know how to read the play the same. So what does it offer just watching on a screen, not being at the ground?
It certainly is different, but you don't hear the atmosphere quite so much as what you do in the crowd. Even us, we could be up in the caravan or whatever, but you can still hear the crowd. But so you're watching it, you get great commentary, you can hear all that, but just the crowd noise is just a little bit lacking. But it's interesting to be able to sit here and watch it. But it's unfortunately I've got no option, mate.
That's all right. And I was going to ask you about that, Ray. How have you gone, mate? How was Perth before you got locked away?
Oh, Oh, look, we've been here for 6 days, and I was here 3 years ago playing cricket over here, so I've seen most of it all, but my wife hadn't. But, we did all the tourist things, been to Rocknest Island and everything else around the place. But, unfortunately, I was due to fly out at 11 o'clock today, so, another 12 hours and I would have been out of the place. But, what I've done, and today I've actually been lucky enough to get another flight. I'm actually flying out of here on Tuesday at 11 o'clock.
There you go, Ray.
You could not get in touch with the airline people last night.
Yeah.
So I looked up the website for Virgin. I set my phone and woke up at 5 o'clock this morning because they opened at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I was on the phone for nearly an hour, but in the end we got a flight out, booked the flight out. As long as the lockdown doesn't go further. I've just been, before the footy started, I was listening to Mark McGowan, the Premier over here. Things are going as planned. They're very promising that it's only going to last for 3 days. But it certainly came. We didn't hear about it till 4 o'clock yesterday because we were down in Fremantle doing the markets and all that sort of stuff. We got back to the hotel at 4 o'clock, but they locked it down basically from 6 o'clock.
Yep.
So I said to my wife, we jumped on the bus and tore down the supermarket, but it was funny, walking into the supermarket reminded me of Melbourne. Everyone's walking out with their 3 dozen rolls of toilet paper.
You're experienced with this, mate.
Yeah, I know that, and all the shelves were half empty, but we got what we wanted, and the restaurants were actually only advised to close at 8 o'clock. It wasn't law, but from what I believe from the broadcast today, they all abided by it. There's only been one contact from the same hotel level as what the man was.
There you go,
now
Ray.
back in
I'm going to have to cut you. I'm going to have to cut you off, unfortunately, Ray, because we've got to squeeze another ad break. Before we go, mate, who's your tip?
No worries, mate.
Who's your tip?
Look, I think Donny East to win. Probably by 6 goals in the end.
All right, thank you for that, Ray. Good to hear from you, mate, and hope to see you soon. We're going to go to a quick ad break, and on the other side of this, the second half between Doncaster East and Doncaster.
Only 19 shots from 53 inside.
And you got 4 minutes.
Can't lay a tackle. What was the seniors coach going to do? Jono surprised himself and everyone else. The spray he gave the boys at halftime worked. Well, he did finish it by saying he'd shout him a post-game feed and frothies at Eastland if they won. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland. Proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland. Live real.
Celebrate a season of stories at Eastland this autumn-winter and discover a style for any occasion and every member of your family. From romantic date nights to family outdoor adventures or a glamorous evening out on the town. Find your new season trend at over 350 of your favourite brands like MJ Bale, Rod & Gun, Maya and Uniqlo. Your new autumn-winter style is waiting at Eastland. Find out more at eastland.com.au. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner, broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman, or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wantirna.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or for some people, show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $255 a year on water and energy bills. Save the performance for the stage. Shower shorter. Save water.
With Bendigo Bank's new Complete Home Loan, you'll be completely taken care of. With a completely awesome rate. Complete offset on fixed and variable loans. And a home loan specialist completely dedicated to you. So if you're not completely sure about the Big Four, search Bendigo Bank Complete Home Loan or head into Bendigo Bank, the better big bank. Lending criteria, terms, conditions, fees and charges apply.
Hello, I'm Peter Hitchener. 9 News invites you to join our team nightly at 6 for Melbourne's #1 news. Tony Jones with the latest sport, including the footy, plus Lavinia Nixon's weather forecast. 9 News, proud supporter of the Eastern Football League.
You've all been to funerals of family members or friends, right? Do you start thinking about what you would want at your funeral? It's a bit like when you go to a wedding. At what stage do you start planning?
Have an open and honest conversation with your loved ones. Celebrate your life the way you want, like I did with a fixed price funeral plan from Tobin Brothers Funerals. The price doesn't change and your life will be celebrated your way. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Sprained your ankle, but
you guys hear me?
Yeah, damn it.
Oh, good. About 50 seconds.
All right, awesome. They're just lining up.
No worries. Okay, sweeper coming up in 5 seconds.
It's Eastland, proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland, live real.
Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Mike's coming on.
Welcome back to Zerby's Reserve. It's Doncaster East taking on Doncaster in this round 2 action of the EFNL Premier Division. It's the Lions 6-5-41 leading the Sharks 4-4-28. The teams are out there. They're ready to go in the second half. As the umpire holds the ball aloft, Gavin Casey will take us away.
Well, Doncaster East had done a warm up for 5 minutes and 30 seconds ago. Doncaster entered Zerby's Reserve and the umpire said just hurry up and get in position because we're third quarter's underway. Running an open goal. Long ball by Green. Misses to the right. As free kick over the shoulder. The spoil went over the shoulder of Rowe and Rowe's going to get another shot at goal. He's said to be only on one leg, but that one leg might just kick his fifth.
I feel like he started this rumour himself just to make himself look like he's playing even better. He's having the best game I've seen him play.
And you're a Carlton fan, so you would have seen a few.
So the ball spilled out of the centre circle, went into the way of Green. Green ran to 50, and around the corner, the ex-AFL player has put it through the middle for his fifth. And it wasn't long ago, late in that second term, that Doncaster were within a goal. But now Doncaster East have pushed out the lead. 7-5-47, Doncaster 4-4-28. So it's a 19-point lead, with Rowe scoring the last 4 goals of the game.
And that's the 6-6-6 working in action there. Doncaster East get it straight out of the centre, and no one can get back to help out Moylan. Or it looks like it might even. I think it still is Moylan down there. He can't beat him one-on-one. He needs help, but he can't get help with the 6-6-6 there if they can get it out of the middle.
No, I think eventually they've gone a bigger man.
Is it you and McKenzie?
Yeah, and now it's McKenzie who has to put some body pressure on. Now it's in the middle. Clark just spoons a hand pass out, but Doncaster with the pressure take the ball out, but Papa Constantinu takes the mark at centre-half back, and from centre-half back he goes out wide to the outer side for another short kick. Flying hand pass by Whitling to Appleby. So James Appleby goes long towards Clark. Spencer won't get there in time. Clark at the highest point takes the mark, plays on quickly, spears the ball towards his leading option. Shalaka's there, one-on-one contest, has to apply a tackle. Turnover ball as Coughlin bends over. He spilled the ball out, and now it's Donny East with a big chance. It's over the head, but nearly it goes, and it's now, I think that's Gold taking the mark out in the open, 30 metres out from Doncaster East goal. And it was just pressure on pressure, but it fell the way of Doncaster East in the pocket, and Gold found himself wide open in the middle of the 50-metre arc.
Really interesting as well. It looks as though Doncaster's come out with only 30 seconds till the bell goes, because Donny, the Lions have come out just firing, ready to take this as he comes in for a goal.
And he doesn't miss. It's very straight kick from Gold, and it's all Gold now for Doncaster East. They move on to 8 goals at 5-53, a 25-point lead 2 minutes into the third term. Doncaster 4-4-28 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Do they look a little cold to you as well, or am I just overreading the fact they were late out to the ground? They just look as though they've been run off their feet the first 2 minutes of this third quarter.
Yeah, I just think they don't have outside players. When they do get numbers the contest, the ball's spilling out, and Donny East have got the men there to mop up and push it forward.
Ball back in the middle here. They've skipped out to a decent lead here, 25 points, Doncaster East. 3 minutes into this third quarter. Umpire throws the ball aloft. Spencer had the front spot. Clark over the top there. In and under. They'll restart it, you would think. Mann tried to scoop the ball up. He did really well, then bustled his way out of traffic. Got the handball away up towards half-forward line now for Doncaster. The ball holds up a little bit. The umpire's blown the whistle. Free kick going the way of Valkenburg, maybe? No, it'll be the skipper, Simon White, for Doncaster East to relieve. Ball the line's a thumping kick. He goes up towards the half-forward line. The big man, Clark, just loped over and tried to climb over Spencer, but giving away a free kick. So
there's a lot of high-rises in Doncaster, and that was one of them.
They're coming up everywhere in the city of Manningham these days, aren't they? The old high-rises. As Spencer has had a really good game. A good contest, the Rucks today, but this man, he doesn't do a thing wrong very often. Whitling got the handball away. That was okay. Gordon back in towards White. Spun on a through, goes back to Gordon. He'll look for the left. He kicked it. It was a toe poker. Needed to put a little bit more effort into that one. His second effort to tackle the player was very good, and we will have a ball up. It was Franz who hit the deck, and it's 65 metres out from the Sharks' goal line. Throws it up. Quick kick in the middle. A 2-on-1 situation, or 2-on-2 I should say, and a strong mark has been taken in there by Andrew Amboldi. He'll have a chance to go wide for Doncaster.
And Doncaster, long ball loaded up. Franz coming in late, but Gordon stood his ground and took a mark in defence. Strong mark, and he's quick to play on, and he's got a running option. And just running onto the ball is Di Cesare. His kick in board has been chopped off, but it does fall in the hands of Appleby. Long ball going towards goal. It comes from front on to knock out his opponent. Free kick's been seen, and Doncaster will, through Kent, waxing with his teammate. Monk's long ball, but it's Ayobi taking the mark on the wing. Looks inboard, and now there's a 25 for not standing still on the mark. You've got to stand when there's a free kick or mark, and being pulled back is Hendon to half forward, and Rami will have a kick further up the field.
Doncaster have been shocking since half-time. Like Tyson said, they were slow to start, giving away 2 goals, and then they've got a free kick. They haven't taken the composure to slow it down, and then just giving away a 50 like that as well.
And Rami's quite a good kick, and he's short pass to find Appleby on the lead. Summers, sorry, I should say, on the lead, and Summers just extends his arms out in without body contact. He takes an easy mark from 50 out.
So Rowville have won by 10 goals over Berwick.
Summers, who hasn't kicked a goal yet, but he's been influential in a lot of passages of play, from 50 on a 45-degree angle, left pocket, as he now deliberate approach, deliberate kick to the line. Will it be just short? It is. Now off the ground. It's Clark. But it's touched over the line before Clark gets his boot to it, and it's a minus score as Summers' kick drops short. It's still a big lead now for Doncaster East, 6 minutes into the third term. Bendigo Bank scoreboard reads Doncaster East 8-6-54, leading Doncaster 4-4-28.
So the Sharks to use the club room side, spearing pass out, went straight through the arms of McMahon. In came Saravolo. He just can't scoop the ball up, but he leaped it to the big man in Clark, who snapped it around the body, inside forward, 50 downfield, free kick. It will be. We're getting dumped after he kicked it. Or is it going back?
No,
it's going
interesting
back.
Interpretation, isn't it?
That should have been downfield. There's no doubt about that. So he'll look to give the handball off to Trakulja, but the big man, he's just taking his time.
Hendon was awake to that little hand pass go.
So Clark, he'll kick it to the hot spot here. He'll kick it towards the row direction. He's got heaps of players to beat there at the fall. The ball nicely done there, picked up by Zalach, who just tried to barge his way through. No prior opportunity, will have a ball up. 20 metres out from the Doncaster East goal line. They're on fire in this second half so far. Swinging around the slippery Shalakis. Gets the handball away. Nicely done. Right foot kick by Santoro. Right to the goal line. No! Touched and through for a minor score. 7.5 minutes gone in this third term out at Zerby's Reserve on EFNL Game Day. And it's Doncaster East leading this one 55-28 as the Sharks waste no time bringing the ball back in. And it goes straight down the throat there of Hendon, who wanted to take off. But Appleby said, "You're going nowhere, buddy." And it'll be the Sharks from half-back.
So it's Mahon gets the short pass at half-back. He looks for options, and it's Moylan who played full-back. But Mackenzie's doing the job now in row. He's pointing to positions, is Moylan, but the short pass doesn't go to him.
Nice.
And it's now chopped off by Donny East. Drop ball by Siravola. Drops into the path of Valkenborg. He tries to take on a tackle. He's taken down. Now it's Chukulia getting to White, knowing White's steady. He takes on 3 tacklers. They're all calling for holding the ball, but Chukula bounces onto it. Now gets it off to Papa. Papa, quick overlap hand pass to Appleby. Appleby lines up. Rose in good position. Mackenzie looking at the ball, and Rose just gone and taken a mark. Judgment there as he backed towards goal. He kept his eyes on the leading option, and Rowe. Great kick there by Appleby. Long, deep, had Mackenzie always underneath it with eyes on Rowe, and he couldn't spoil it as Rowe took a chest mark on the top of the goal square.
That was really good play.
Rowe, he's toe poked it. He's losing energy in that leg, but that leg has kicked 6. And it's now Rowe kicking the team away. He's kicked 5 of the last 6 goals for Doncaster East. 9-7-61, a 33-point margin over Doncaster. 4-4-28, 9 minutes gone, third term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
All started with Simon White because it needed 3 Sharks to bring him to ground.
Yeah, exactly.
So all that happens is they take 3 blokes there, got it out, and then they had numbers in front of the contest. And it was beautiful play by Dracula to actually he could have easily just grabbed it and kicked it down the line, but he stood up, saw that he had Papa Constantinou in the middle, and it just opened the field up for them. There's not much Mackenzie could do there because of what happened up the field.
Decent old lead at the moment. 33 points it comes out. On the left boot, here's Mahon up towards the half-forward line. In the front spot there was White. Went after it at ground level, picked up by Zalach, got the handball away. This is better by Spiteri, who goes goalward right to the line, but pushed it to the left. And through it goes for a minor score. 10 minutes tick over here in the third term.
And the last 5 minutes of the second quarter and the first 10 minutes of this quarter, I think Sam Rose kicked 5 and the Lions have kicked 6, and that's the difference at the moment. So the Sharks have only got themselves to blame.
32 points is the margin as Tommy Gordon kicked us out of play on the full in the end, so bounced over. Why is that not out of bounds on the full?
He would have come out of the square.
It didn't look like he did, though.
Well, that might be what's happening now.
So it's got to be a free kick to Doncaster because he never left the square to not apply.
And to be honest,
I didn't think. Yeah, it was a toe poke.
He's silly to not leave the square because it's a free disposal.
Yeah.
And especially in the days of us having stats now, you would have thought he'd take at least a step out. Although now it won't go against his efficiency now because it's technically not a kick. So it's he could have been playing 3D chess, is Tom Gordon.
Rambaldi on the right boot kicks it towards Zalach, directed over the back. It almost fell right into the arms there of Moylan. Now Gordon gets another opportunity to keep the ball into play, and Jimmy Appleby.
Well done.
What a timely fist that was. That was super. The dive to save it.
I think the man there, Rambaldi's asking for deliberate. Well, it was deliberate, but it was incredibly well done.
You know, we're going to get that one paid, Ange, as the umpire brings it in. It's just inside the forward arc for Doncaster. Well done there by Clark. Backed his way to the front. Gold at the fall of the ball. Snapped it. Bouncing out towards the wing position, far side. And over she goes for a boundary throw-in right next to the Porter Davis sign.
Got a very, very similar feeling to the opening 10-15 minutes of the first quarter. Lions are dominating. Doncaster just doing their best to hang on.
Brings it in. Spencer is in the front spot. Got the knockdown. It's okay. I'll tell you what, Marn's having a good game for Doncaster. Comes out now.
Good tackle.
Oh, that was Santoro who went after it. He got stripped of it. Holding the ball is the result. Another chance for the Sharks to go forward. They've really lifted in the last couple of minutes, have Doncaster. After Doncaster East came out soaring at half-time up towards that half-forward line. Who's going to go after it? Colombo was in there, mopped up by Papa Constantinou. Now they've linked up through. White kicks the ball up towards the Franklin direction. Bouncing this way, that way. Linked up really nicely here. Here's Stoneham inside forward 50 or thereabouts. Shalakis, you think he'd want to take off here. And Jackie Shalakis, it's beyond his range. He's certainly not a player who slots them from 50. He'll go towards the leading kick. Out in front, Jake Summers. So it was as easy as you like when he let out there, Jakey, and he'll have a ping from about 45 metres out. Difficult angle though.
8th inside 50 for the quarter for the Lions, and they've currently kicked 3 goals too.
Well, Jake Summers yet to trouble the goal kicking sheet. And it's quite rare when Doncaster East have kicked 9, he might not have put one through yet. So Jakey, once again, just a couple of steps, kicks it right towards the hot spot. He just can't be beaten, and he tells him all about it. He tells Frankie McKenzie, "You know about this. This is number 7 going over your head."
Look, there may have something else must have happened, but it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good unless something, obviously, like I said, we don't know what else is happening out there, and he is taking the proverbial out of him, but not a good look.
No, Sam Rowe, he just can't miss. He comes in, he's kicked 6, he's kicked 7, bang! Doncaster East have their 10th, 13 and a half minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Rowe has 7, 10-7, 67 to Doncaster 4-5-29. They're running away with it at the moment, the Lions.
Do you play him on one leg next week as well? He doesn't need 2 legs by the look of it.
He's got to stand up.
He's
standing up at the moment.
Yeah, so Chris Colombo seems to be having a problem with his left hamstring. I remember him hobbling during the second quarter, so it seems to be an ongoing thing for this game. Definitely worth keeping an eye on, especially since he was their goal scorer last week against South Croydon.
Ball back in the middle of Zerby's reserve. Tap one down by Spencer. He kicks off the ground trying to clear the congestion as they came from all angles to make it a bigger pack than the initial ball up in the middle. And we'll have another one. Spencer versus Gordon now in the ruck, who just tries to come to grips with the bodywork on Spencer, and it's now won by Santoro. Hands it out to Appleby. Jimmy Appleby, long kick, just dumps it into centre forward position. Coughlin gets the ball, but he gets taken over the shoulder. But the umpire didn't see anything against Summers as the tackle was applied. Now, even though Coughlin's going, well, I'm just going to take a free kick anyway. But the umpire says, no, give it back to me. Spencer in front position, kicks it off the ground again. Not smart because it goes in the hands of Appleby. Appleby loads up a long ball high into a hot spot. Ground level ball falls into the hands of Kempy. Kempy gets taken down and tackled. And the umpire says, you're holding the ball. He said, I am past it before I was even tackled. And now it's going to be holding the ball going the way of Whitling, who applied the tackle. And it's stripping, holding the ball. Yeah, it was a bit of a throw, wasn't it? It was no fist into the ball.
He may have technically got a hand to it, but I don't think he can really argue with that decision.
So it's a throw / holding the ball decision as Whitling from 35 metres out hits the post on the right. And it hooked just from the middle of goals with his left foot. And it's now a minor scored. That kills a bit of a run. Doncaster East 10-8. 68 at Doncaster East, leading Doncaster 4-5-29. It's a 39-point margin. 15 minutes third quarter.
How long till it's technically party time? What's the score got to be, Gav, before you call it party time?
It goes out now towards the wing position. White, look away, handball, Trakulia on the left boot, kick it straight into his opponent. Over that she goes for a boundary throw-in. Right in front of the grandstand here.
The problem is Doncaster can do everything right, but connect with themselves.
Yeah, there's good individual efforts everywhere, isn't there?
Clark made his way to the front spot. He'll go after it again. Appleby picked the ball up, trying to bustle his way through there. Got dispossessed, goes after it again. There's a few Sharks there that are going to have something to say about that. As a kick by Hendon keeps the ball alive. Spiteri was there. Over she goes for a boundary throw in.
You got to wonder what a Chris Zanakis could add to a Simons and efforts.
And it would probably add depth to their forward line because there'd be a couple of guys that could rest forward and maybe clunk a mark.
Spencer roved his own knockdown as a kick goes up towards half forward line. Vickers got a little nudge in the back by Trakulia, and he'll have the ball about 70 metres out. 2 kicks from home, Doncaster. They need something. They need a spark from somewhere. They like going to that right forward pocket, and they're going to do it again. As the kick goes in towards deep in and just eyes only for the football. He's a class act, isn't he, the skipper? Simon White, handball over the top. Finds Jimmy Appleby on the right boot. Standing start, thumped it every bit of 50 metres as the kick goes out, and it's been taken by Jimmy Locke, who wants to go on with it. And he'll have to go back, kick over his man on the mark. So Locke Asked to go on with it now by umpire Dan Beard. Just thinking about it. Little handball away to Whitling, who ran himself into trouble. Got it back to Locke on the right boot. Kicks it up towards the half-forward line where the big packing shoes. Franklin got a timely fist on it. And the umpire said he chopped the arms of the big ruckman Spencer. And it'll be Doncaster through Hendon now. He's had a really good game. Switches it out wide. Finds Monks, who too had a super first half of the Sharks, who's going to cough it up now. Pavic and Stanton now over the top. It was as good as a kick. Got it out. Little handball backwards now, Trakulia. He's going to have to take it. He was under a fair old bit of pressure. Linking up well there was Valkenberg. Got it to Vickers, who'll want to use his left boot here. Oh, he does. He finds the space and he kicks it straight down the throat of his teammate in Spiteri, who looks like he's not that confident. He might be struggling with the distance here, but he'll go back and have a ping nonetheless. Leads Spiteri.
There's a little matchup there was a matchup in the forward pocket. Zach Clark and Kyle Vickers, and it was the biggest mismatch I've ever seen. He's moved off him now, but great play from Kyle Vickers. He's been very impressive.
A bit of a Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air style haircut. Goes out of bounds wide on the full. There's Simon White.
Boundary.
It's crossed down boundary side.
Yeah, Chris Colombo has just come back on. Still nursing that hamstring, but good enough to play at the moment.
White to Lock. Ceravolo screaming for it. Back to White. Just went the required meterage there. And that kick, don't worry about that kick. That's a super one as it goes thumping towards the big ruckman there in Clark, who just was a one-on-one contest. Franklin came charging in, put his body on the line. Umpire said play on here. Ramboldi linked up well. Doncaster trying to use the middle of the ground, and they do. Back to Ramboldi. Short passes on. Couldn't quite hit the target. Whitling was there. He's had a good third term, Whitling.
Throw.
And he has been pinged for a throw. Simons will have it just inside the centre square. 2 kicks from home, Donny, as they go towards the Monks direction. And also Vickers, who takes the mark. He's a tricky little player. He's got some speed and a bit of dash about him as well.
Yeah, he's only very young. I'd say he's 19, 20 at the oldest. He's a talented cricketer as well, and he's been probably their most polished player with the ball in hand today, Tyson, hasn't he? He's definitely been their best kick.
Yeah, especially the last 10 minutes. He's just owned a little bit of confidence. He's been one of the most trustworthy players on the Sharks team, I'd say.
He looks like he's wearing a 90 as he comes. We're right behind him here. I'm going to back him in from here. Beautiful kick, gun barrel straight that was. He's got his second. Doncaster get their all-important 5th goal on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. We hit time on in this third term, and they trail by 33 points, 5-5-35. The Sharks, the Lions 10-8-68.
He's a shining light for them today. Obviously, they look like they're on the losing end at the moment. Still not done with, but they're a long way behind. But
note it down though, just in case.
Yeah, Kyle Vickers, Kane Hendon, and I think Kempy and Coghlan have shown bits for Doncaster. So there's definitely some shining lights out there, but they just have not been consistent enough across the board.
They shared it really well. It was well called by Ben Warren-Smith through the corridor. Did Doncaster get it going forward? Ended in Vickers' goal. Doncaster East win the centre clearance, but Coghlan mops up, but his kick is smothered. A lot of players there for Doncaster East, including Green. Long ball loaded up into the pocket, trying to fall with the mark was Locke. And the ball is flowing off a boot out in the full. And it's going to be a free kick to Doncaster East.
Unlucky to Van der Haar there, and the ball just hit the boot in the right spot, and the momentum took it straight over.
And look at the goal sneak, Gav Casey just sneak over and grab that free kick. That would have been you in a heartbeat, wouldn't it, Gav?
Yeah, you got to know when there's a chance, and you were the closest one there because you're suddenly there. Shalakis, I don't think he was even in the 50 at the time. From his left boot, right pocket, hooks it too much, misses the near side, a minor score. Doncaster East 10-9-69, leading by 34 points. Doncaster a 5-5, 21 minutes gone in the third term. That is the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
I reckon it's going to thump down with rain in the last quarter.
He's got a point in each quarter too, Jack Shalakis. I'm sure he's eager to get his major on the board.
The kick goes in and the kick goes out, and they shake it all about. Let's go down boundary side.
Yeah, just on that rain call, it's getting very dark right now and starting to spit rain a little bit, so probably pretty accurate.
Summers goes deep. He goes towards the row direction, and the ball. Franklin Franklin, can he keep it alive? He can't. Little slap.
I'm really hopeful that Carlton are having a good look at Sam Rowe and contemplating bringing him back into the goal square for 2022.
Uh,
He was on St Kilda's list last year, mate.
You can still get him back.
Well, Six Saints probably could do with a big tall forward.
But as a Carlton fan, I'd really like to see him back in our goal square.
As a St Kilda fan, I want him in now. But as a Doncaster East fan, I want him right
I think Doncaster East are going to get him the ball more often, so you might want to stay here.
Throws it up. Kick goes now towards McLeod, who's in the front spot. Big fist over the top there by Moylan. It hits the deck here. Appleby got it away. He was looking for Pavic and Stanton. Goes past him, picked up by Summers, snaps around the body, kicks it right towards the hot spot. Who's going to be in underneath this one? Clark had the front spot. It was knocked away from him. Who's going to win it at ground level? Nicely done there by Manu. Copped it. Sammy Gold around the body. Sammy Gold kicks it to the top of the goal square. Big fist from the side. Rowe couldn't pull that one down. Well done by Vanderhaar. And through she goes for one behind, wasting no time. Ramboldi brings the ball back into play, but he wasn't allowed to do so. So take two. 70 plays 35. They're double the score. Doncaster East of the Sharks at the moment as they've coughed it up straight down the throat there of Stoneham. So Mitch Stoneham, he'll kick from centre half forward. He'll start his approach from almost the middle of the ground. He'll kick from just outside the arc. And Stoneham kicks goalward. It's got a fair old bit of purchase there. Appleby at the back and get Sam Rowe. No.
It was just a goalmouth scramble. Everyone was just throwing their legs around.
And one behind. 36 points is the margin. 6 goals. 71 plays 35.
As play on call from the kick out that went to the back pocket. So Thiel goes long. His kick goes to the wing. Turnover ball, but the pressure applied by Zalic was good enough to get a free kick. So
kicking in danger.
So Zalic, who called for the free kick, will take the ball just behind centre wing on the outer side. He just puts a dinky ball to half forward, no mark taken. The umpire's saying play on, and everyone's going, well, where's the ball? And it's under White's bottom. And
very specific of you there, Gavin. Jared and Ryan are right there. I don't know if they can confirm if it was under his bottom.
But White gets himself up and gives the ball back. It didn't hatch, so we're all good to play on. Now it's falling into the hands of Moylan. Moylan kicks it deep to Franz, whatever you want to say. He's now just...
France, you're going to go with France. You're going to start running around Europe.
Francois.
We might have time for a history lesson in the last quarter, Gav. So
yeah, I'll tell you who Franz Ferdinand is. So
the catfish is in the good spot here to take a photo on the throw-in.
Always great photos too.
Fantastic. He got a ripper of the bump in the first term. High throws it in. Spencer, a little flick over the back that time. Picked up there by Doncaster East in the way of Reynolds. Just copying it there with Saravolo.
Like a punch in the face.
Comes out now. Nicely done by Green, who's been quieter since that first quarter. Just destroyed it in that first quarter. As the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds, right in front of the Doncaster dugout. So can they snag a 1 or 2 before three-quarter time, the Sharks? Clark, the big man, took it out of the ruck contest. That was good play. Now it's Stoneham on the right boot, inside forward 50, looking for Locke as the siren sounds. And the ball hits the deck, and it's three-quarter time out here at Zerby's Reserve on EFNL Game Day. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast on the SEN app or simultaneously cast on 98.1 Radio Eastern. But it is the Lions with 1 quarter to play, leading by 36 points. Sam Rowe has 7 goals and 2 goals to Vickers for Doncaster. We hope you're enjoying this. We've got 1 quarter to go. We'll be back after this.
You're clear.
Yeah, actually.
No worries.
I'll probably be able to...
I worked out what the issue was.
Yeah.
I think it's just my mic here. I put the fader down, but if it's still technically on, it doesn't go through or anything, but it means you can't hear me, so I've turned it off completely, and that seems to work, so it's all good.
So wait till he's spoken to him.
No worries.
And then...
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wantirna.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or for some people, show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $255 a year on water and energy bills. Save the performance for the stage. Shower shorter. Save water.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Hello, I'm Peter Hitchener. 9 News invites you to join our team nightly at 6 for Melbourne's #1 news. Tony Jones with the latest sport, including the footy, plus Lavinia Nixon's weather forecast. 9 News, proud supporter of the Eastern Football League.
You've all been to funerals of family members or friends, right? Do you start thinking about what you would want at your funeral? It's a bit like when you go to a wedding. At what stage do you start planning?
Have an open and honest conversation with your loved ones. Celebrate your life the way you want, like I did with a fixed price funeral plan from Tobin Brothers Funerals. The price doesn't change and your life will be celebrated your way. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
At Eastland, we believe one day isn't enough to celebrate all that our beautiful mums do. That's why we're celebrating Happy Mother's Days, the festival of love she deserves. From dining to fashion, homewares or a pampering session, Eastland has all your favourite brands ready to spoil mum. And if you need inspiration, check out our online gift guides. Spend $250 and you'll go in the running to win a $50 Eastland gift card till May 8th. T's and C's apply. Find out more at eastland.com.au. Eastland, live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wantirna.
The senior coach has taken the team to Eastland for a post-game feed. If only they had this kind of teamwork on the field. They've just ordered starters to share. Plus,
20 seconds, guys.
Steve-O's chucked a prawn to Macca. He's circled back.
How you going, Matty? You all good? Yeah, all good, Damo. It's just started pissing down in here, mate. So luckily we're inside.
Oh, yeah, you got the club rooms there?
Yeah.
All right, 5 seconds.
Thanks, mate.
At sponsors of the EFL, Eastland, live real.
Let's head. Mike's about to come on.
40.
Hey, mate. Yeah, welcome back to Zerby's Reserve as the rain starts tumbling down. It's coming across the city, and we're out here. Well, just hang on there. We've got Doncaster East 10-11-71, Doncaster 5-5-35. Now we're going to go down boundary side.
Yeah, I'm here with Steve Buckle, Doncaster East coach. So what was the message at half-time to bring about that much better third quarter?
Oh, look, we just had to clean up a few things around the outside. Look, our ball use was, we weren't taking ground. We were overusing the handball a lot as well. We had to clean a few things up disciplinary-wise as well, which cost us 2 goals in that second quarter and just handed them and kept them in the game, really. We thought we basically dominated play so far. We just had to get the ball forward and get it into really dangerous positions. Sam Rowe was killing them up forward, so we can get it down into his area as much as we can. That was the key.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Well done to Jared there. Eager on debut to get his thoughts across, but doing very, very well down there on the boundary line as the raid starts to tumble down. As I said, it's the Lions by 6 goals at the moment. It's Sam Rowe's been the difference, Gav Casey. He's kicked 7 on one leg.
Yeah, I don't want to be sounding evil here, but you could see that there's only one way Rowe was going to kick a goal. That was one-on-one. He'd take a mark over Moylan. Maybe they should have put Mackenzie to rough him up earlier.
Probably should have done. We're going to go down to Ryan Long now.
Yeah, just quickly about that with Stuart. I was listening into the huddle then. We spoke about needing to get players in front of Rowe, help out the men in the contest with that, and also just starting to rain a lot more here, and that actually may even help Doncaster, because Doncaster East has been very strong in the air today.
Yeah, great work down there, Ryan and Jared, being good down there, boys. Get ready for this last quarter of wild weather. And as we hand over to Ben Warren-Smith and Gav Casey to call this last quarter action.
So the final 30 minutes today, round 2, Premier Division football comes out. Saravolo couldn't quite trap it as the rain comes down. It'll be a slippery last term, you would think. And we will have a ball up just forward of centre for Doncaster. Keep the scores flooding in this final term. It'll be happening in real life as well, by the looks of things. It's not looking pretty coming over the hills of Doncaster.
So we've got a couple of scores. As I said, Roval have already won their first game of the year over Berwick. Norwood lead by 15 points at three-quarter time. Vermont by 25 over Noble Park. And, of course, Blackburn and South Croydon is tomorrow.
It's not over at Seabeck, though, because the girls are playing today.
Exactly, unfurling their flag.
Fantastic stuff as the umpire throws it up. Nicely done, Trakulia. Got boot to ball and travelled the required distance, but straight down the throat of Hovenden, who looked pretty deliberate that he's having a ping.
He's got his chance. He turned his back immediately. Division 1 scores. Croydon up, Park Orchards up, Mooroolbark up, and Mitcham are doing it comfortably over Upper Gully. No score from Montrose Ludell as yet.
Lift your game. It comes in. He shanked that one, pushed it to the right-hand side, and Clark comes out and takes it straight on the chest.
South Belgrave lead Boronia by 8 points, and Mulgrave look like they're going to get their first win. They're up by 6 goals over Templestowe.
Good to hear the Mulgrave are in front at three-quarter time. We don't often hear that of yesteryear. The kick goes out. Mark's been taken by Spencer. On the right boot, pokes it forward. That's a beautiful kick for a ruckman, but dropping what he should have taken there was Monks, who's had a ripping game. McLeod was right on his hammer. Gordon over the top there, and we will have a ball up. More scores.
Yeah, not many updates in Division 3. The only one that is updated is Ferntree Gully are up by 5 goals over Waverley Blues, so another disappointing loss on the cards for the Blues.
I brought the Kleenex for Gav as the kick comes up towards the half-forward line. Bouncing football. It'll go the way of Gold. That was sensational by Gold. He gives it off. Handball by Rowe into the goal square, and Shalakis is on the scoreboard. 11 goals now to Doncaster East, 11-11-77 to Doncaster 5-5-35. He's been looking for that goal, Jackie.
Yeah, and Sam, I reckon if he had 2 legs, might have snapped around the body there, but he just couldn't turn himself quick enough. So
well done, Bob. Well, how good was that by Sam Gold? Just as good as a kick and just a smart piece of play. It was certainly gold.
Division 4 scores. Coldstream are up by 100 points, 120 points over Kilsyth. Forest Hill and Nunawading, the score hasn't been updated in a while. Churnside are home, they're up by 80 points, and Surrey Park leads Silverton by 10 points.
Close game there.
Spencer wins the attack, but the swarming nature of Doncaster East win the centre clearance again through Green. Rumboldi standing up to the pressure, takes on the ball, keeps it in front of himself. Then he decides when he wants to pick it up, kicks it off the ground, just because there's too many Doncaster East players around him, and he concedes a boundary throw in.
Wonder how cleared up it is for Jared out there on the boundary at the moment.
So Spencer comes a run and go this time, knocks it forward. Oh, well, that was Spiteri, put his shoulder into it, and I think he's come worse off with the bump. And his right shoulder...
He's not playing a free kick, is the umpire?
Well, it's very late, based on the nature of the injury. He might have... he's calling it back.
I think he thought the injury was worse, but Spiteri's... He's called his bluff, and in the end, his mate Spiteri looked like a bit of a sook there.
Well, if it was a head injury, it's fair enough he stops play, but Spiteri got up and said, "What are you talking about?" and moved off, and now it's a ball up on the outer wing, and it goes further out wide, off hands and out of bounds. We'll go boundary side for more comment.
You just mentioned just down on the boundary here. Yeah, it's getting pretty rubbish. I'm hoping this microphone is waterproof. It's my first day, so I don't know, but I'm assuming
It's my first day. Beautiful stuff down there, Joe. Bit of Homer Simpson. It's my first day. Great stuff.
Where's the pink umbrella?
Yeah.
I think it's in the van. We didn't bring it.
Not sure if he knows what the any key is, as it's now gone out wide. It's in the hands of Spiteri, who shakes off any injury, and it's gone out of bounds from a punch out, and Doncaster are calling for a free kick against Doncaster East. We'll have another boundary throw in.
Don't want to play that game with me, Gav. Oh, a tab.
So it's again Spencer holds his position and knocks it forward, not to anyone in particular. The kick off the ground didn't go well for Whitling, so he'll have to chase down his opposite number 4, Malloy. Long, high, a ball. It's up. It's going to draw rain. Actually, it is raining. And it's now at the ground level where the players are all slipping over, and the umpire says free kick to Doncaster East.
You know it's not a successful one when it's only Bruce laughing.
Yep.
This is what you call light entertainment. Very light.
He comes up now, barging his way through. There was Coughlin, got dispossessed. Umpire comes in to throw it up. Far side of Zerby's reserve out near our boundary riders. Right on there by Appleby. Got the handball back to Green, who thumped the ball inside forward 50, bouncing out of bounds. Probably a good result for Doncaster East. Let's cross boundary side.
Yeah, just noticed on Lee Spiteri, looks to be holding his ribs. He's been walking up and down the boundary, and now he's having attention from the doctors. Keep you updated.
Thanks very much. Just needing to get the ball back here. The catfish is not moving at all.
He's the only person out there who does not seem disturbed by the rain, does he, the catfish? He's just honed in on his task.
He's only growing a beard to hold the water.
He's going to come in and just squeeze it out like a sponge. There's only 25 minutes left, guys. Don't worry.
Did you notice no one's willing to jump the fence over there, because if you don't time it right
on the turf wickets, you go arse over.
Well, those metal poles could cause some
Chris
damage.
Colombo did it. Good on him.
Well, he's an explorer.
Well done, Gav. Well done. You totally redeemed yourself as it comes out with the brought to ground. It comes out Hendon. Doncaster goes after it again. Appleby was in there, little handball out. Just stripped of the football. Green got a left foot to it.
Have a waterproof jacket.
And
Gav, I'm just curious at what point in the game you decided that was a good call and how long you'd been waiting to use it.
It comes to him. He's a natural, man. He all plays on instinct, this Gav.
That's correct.
That was fantastic.
Handball off Kent. And heard called his name too often today as he kicks it in towards the middle of the ground. Chasing after it, Papa Constanza now. Comes out, Monks, kicks it inside forward, 50 or thereabouts. Vickers is going to run onto this. He's clever. On the left, he's kicked 2, he's kicked 3. That is a good kick. That is a brilliant kick. Doncaster have 6. And they still trail, though, by a hefty margin out here at Zerby's Reserve. 7 minutes tick over in the final quarter on EFNL a game day. And it is 77-41.
His ball use in the wet there. Everyone else looks like they can't kick it over a jam tin. He's just gathered that, swung onto the left and drilled it. He's kicked half their score. He's been very, very impressive, Kyle Vickers, and I reckon Doncaster would want to sign him up pretty quick, because I suspect a few sides higher up might be getting in his ear.
Kept his feet on a slippery deck, didn't spill the ball. Haven't seen much of that all day.
No,
and
especially not in this quarter.
Steadied, and the left spearing ball into goals was just pure perfection. And now it's back in the middle with Donny East again, win the tussle in the ruck contest, and then they win it at ground level.
The scoreboard is correct as well. For those watching at home, it is 6-5-41 for Doncaster. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
So the tap one out, hand pass flies out. Reynolds goes out wide on the bouncing ball. It doesn't get Shalakis and eludes him out of bounds. So it's gone into the forward pocket, and it's 6-5-41 Doncaster, trailing Doncaster East 11-11-77. 8 minutes gone, final term. Premier Division football, round 2.
Well done.
Donny East, this going towards their first win in Premier Division, but they've still got 20 minutes to play. Now it's at half back. Getting Simons gets a releasing handball out. Now it gets up to Franz. Franz long ball inside 50. Vickers, he's kicked it off the ground this time. Does he want to run onto it? He's lost his legs, and he's just going to hope it goes out of bounds in front of Gordon, and it does. And just to make sure of it, one of the Doncaster players slides into the ball and knocks it out of bounds in the pocket. So I think everyone's lost a bit of pace now. It's getting a bit heavier with the rain. Boundary throw in, Clark v Spencer. Spencer wins the punch, but it goes straight under his own feet where the Rovers come in, and it's going to be a ball up 30 metres out as Vickers applies a tackle.
This period of play has just showed that all day Doncaster have actually been able to match it. It's just they've had too many lapses, and that's probably comes from being a young side without their leaders out there in Schimmelbusch and Anarchis. And Doncaster East have plenty of mature bodies and mature heads that have, whenever they've been under the pump, they've held their cool. When Doncaster have been under the pump, they've probably folded a bit too quickly.
And again, Vickers was on the ball before being tackled out of bounds. He's now hands on knees. He's done a lot recently to be a little bit exhausted. Kempy's getting his head over it, and he's been taken high. Just he was bending over the ball. There was no intent to take him down as such, but the tackle from Aobi is now over the shoulder, and it's going to be a free kick to Kempy. He just plays on, uses the full arc of the standing man on mark from 50, loads up, and he misses to the left side, but it nearly cleared the fence from 50. So it was a good kick in the conditions from Kempy, but a minor score. Doncaster 6-6-42, trailing Doncaster East 11-11, 77. It's a 35-point margin in the fourth term. It's now the kick out has eluded all. Did it go off hands? Because I just turned away.
And he played on out of the square.
And in that case, it's a ball in 70 metres around from Doncaster's goal. The boundary line seeing more possessions than some of these players. As they all fall over, it's Ringa-Ringa-Rosie in the ruck contest. Colombo picks it up, runs forward, hands it off to his teammate who can't go far because Hofferton's taken down in the tackle, and just as he was setting himself to run towards goal, he was stopped in his tracks big time, and Reynolds picks the ball up. And it's going to take a free kick from that tackle that stopped him at his station. And it's a long kick. Summers got underneath it, one grab at it. Just as he was about to get his second grip on the ball, it gets tapped away and out of bounds.
Really surprised they haven't put Sam Rowe on ice, to be honest. Such a key player. Unless I guess he's not aggravating the injury any further by standing up there, but really surprised.
Maybe warming down is not the best thing for his leg, so he needs to keep warm and keep out there.
Keep warm for the next 18 weeks.
As the quick kick out goes, and it's all the behind the ball with Vanderhaar taking the mark for Doncaster. He kicks a wobbly one on the bench, Franz, gets it off to Colombo. Colombo is like soap, and he dropped it as he was running towards goal 40 out, picking it up like it wasn't soap, was Simons, but he gets taken down from behind. Now it's a contest for the ball. Vickers tackles a man without it. Now the ball's flying out. White's there as a good leader, just clearing congestion with a forward hand pass. It falls out of Franklin's hand, and he spoons it up like it's a dessert, and it's now gone out of bounds. He'll be penalised for throwing the ball. So it's Doncaster with the ball, short pass over the head of the leading option in Godden, and White just read it beautifully off the boot and takes a mark in defence. So it's now White, long ball at half back. Goes to half forward, Chalaka's running onto it. He's got Vanderhaar behind him, but Vanderhaar catches him and takes him down in the tackle, and it spills out of bounds half forward. But White's long kick from inside his defensive 50 is now just outside their own attacking 50 for Doncaster East. Out of side, 12.5 minutes gone, fourth term. Doncaster East have been waiting for this day for a long time. Premiership 2019, missed all of 2020. They've been waiting for this day. Their first win in Premier Division will come soon, but Doncaster East now have to soak up some pressure from these Lions that are surging forward. Franklin in there, Shalakas runs onto it, the whistle blows, and it's going to be a defender taken, holding the man just as Shalakas was about to pick it up and go for goal.
Yeah, the Lions, they just don't want to lapse and sour a day by making it close, do they? It's 35 points. I don't think they deserve it being any less than at least 30.
Well, the children are occupying themselves in the background. The umpire will bring the ball back into play. Driving rain out here today. I do feel sorry for the boundary riders out there. You can see them on screen as Ceravolo paddles it to his advantage, keeps the ball alive, did really well there, Sezzy boy, but kick goes inside forward 50, it's cut off, up towards the wing position, it goes, bouncing football, it's a 2-on-1 situation here, a little look away handball, it's just too slippery, but keeping it alive. That was sensational play there by Moylan, breaking the tackle and doing well that time there was Simons, inside forward 50, Colombo came in from the side, got the front spot, Vickers around the body, Vickers snaps towards goal and pushes it to the left.
Minor score is the result. The man behind the goals there in the dry as a bone, he has the right idea this afternoon. Indigo Bank scoreboard, 14 minutes gone in this final term, 77-43. The skipper Simon White to bring the ball back into play. Kick towards the Rami Ayubi direction, and Summers used his body well and came out and took it on the chest. So most of the fans have made their way to shelter. The kick goes to Locke. Appleby, I should say. Jimmy Appleby, short pass. He's looking for Shalaka's. Fist over the top there by Malloy. That was okay. Came over the top there. Kemp got a little push in the back, did Kempy, and he will be the recipient. So Doncaster to drive the ball forward once more. The kick goes inside forward 50. White was just outworked on that occasion. He sort of just didn't judge it. You could see his eyes for it, and falling straight down the throat of Monks, who I think has been a really good player today for Doncaster.
Yeah, he's probably just let himself down by foot, but his effort's been there. He's taken a number of marks along this wing, and he's definitely brought the intensity, Tyson. He probably, if he can get a goal here, that'll be good effort, good reward, for effort.
So we are right behind him. There's no doubt about that as he kicks towards goal. That is a good kick off the boot. Goal to Monks. And Doncaster, well, there's still half a quarter to play. Can they give the home fans a scare out here at Zerby's Reserve?
If they're good enough.
Oh, I think the weather's probably taken that down, but it looks like the Lions have put the cue in the rack. But look, like I said, the Sharks have shown plenty of signs today, but they just haven't been able to do it for long enough, have they, Tyson?
No, and that was a great mark, actually. Coming in with this rain bucketing down, we haven't seen too many marks taken with less than 2 or 3 attempts at it. So that was just a nice little one straight into the chest and converted with a goal, which is a nice little confidence booster going into the last half.
And not many blokes get rid of Simon White like that either.
And that was a gimme for you all to jump on the Sharks bandwagon, which I was on, and you all just denied it as well. Just so make that very clear. Okay. As it comes out now.
I didn't know saying there was 15 minutes left was a bandwagon.
I'm not clear.
Is there a chance? I think that the answer would have been, yeah, there's a slight chance.
You're telling me there's a chance?
I definitely think there's a chance. As it comes in now, Clark got the palm down. Ceravolo on the left. Kicks it up towards the half-forward line. Ramboldi. Gold was there to trap it. Made it look like dry weather football there. Gold kicks it towards the goal line. Rose in front. He just rips it down. He wants 8. He wants 8. And I tell you what, he's going to go with this way, that way, and he kicked the goal. He wanted one. He needed to put one through on his left. That's why he did it.
That's the dodgy leg too.
The 2-finger salute. So I tell you what, he made a meal of that. But nonetheless, it is a goal, and they're all letting Frankie McKenzie know about it as well. Something has gone down.
I missed that just then. What happened? He played on.
He went on to the right. McKenzie read it, so he went back on to the left, realised it was his dodgy left, and then just slapped it on and went straight through the middle. Luckily, he's got 8. So all's well that ends well for Sam Rowe.
Best on ground, does that get you 8 goals?
Oh, you would have thought in a game that's only had 19. He's kicked 40% of the score.
Back in the middle. It's a big punch by Spencer, gains 15 metres, but Appleby runs back onto it. So he's from the back of the square, loading up a long ball to centre forward. Ramboldi comes a big punch over the top, and Franklin can't take the mark, and it's out of bounds.
I think Simon White's putting his hand up as well. It's been super today. But 8 goals is a big...
Well, it's the difference, isn't it? Just when they needed a way to kick a goal, even against the flow, it was Rowe who did it. And now Whitling has got it on the wing. He picks up the ball off the deck and he kicks around the corner, but it's been chopped off, and it's marked by Ramboldi. He's looking at options, short and long. Decides to try to run around the man of the mark, who didn't move very much, so Shalakis corrals him into a long kick to half forward. 2 grabs at a good mark for Doncaster, and it's Monks again, who now tries to quickly play on. Right ball, low one, just Obi gets his hand on it and nearly broke it. There was that bit of a torpedo kick, as now the ball popping around. Spencer gets it at the 60-metre wall that Doncaster have created, but they just can't pick it up. And it's now the tackle goes in, it's holding the man, and thankfully Doncaster can claim a free kick because they couldn't pick it up off the deck. And it's Zalic looking at options. It's a congested forward line. Zach Clark is like, when's he getting to having to play on? Now he does. 55, pops it to the goal square. Markers go at it, off the ground goal, and it will be to Moylan, who was full back for 4 goals, and now he's kicked his own in reply, being put at full forward, and Moylan gets Doncaster's goal when he was the man trying to take the mark, but he roved his own dropped mark, kicking it off the ground from 3 metres out, and Doncaster 8-7-55, trailing Doncaster East 12-11-83 as we approach time on 4th term.
Yep, it's been, it's like I said, the effort's been there from the Sharks, but looks like they're queuing the rack there. But good work for Moylan, who probably would have been looking down the barrel of a very, very bad day. Luckily, though, he got switched at half time.
He's only -3 now.
Exactly. If he can get up to evens, we might have a good one on our hands.
Well, there's a bit of shepherding happening in that ruck contest, and it'll go the way of Spencer for the Sharks. We might get Bertie, who's watching in Singapore, to send us through who his votes are today. The kick goes inside forward, 50, big fist there by Gordon. Got it that way, nicely done there by Jimmy Appleby, out to Whitling. They're using the coaching box side, the far side out here at Zerby's. Ramboldi did really well there on Franklin, got the handball away. Doncaster go surging forward again, on the right boot, inside and deep they go. Pavic and Stanton now might have been held there, he was, off the downfield. In the flight of play, no, it's a downfield free kick. Let's see what the replay shows us on that one. There's Lee Green from LKLM Media, the best in the business. As Doncaster, as the boys said, they're in no chance, so he might put this one through, and Monks are going to kick for his second. He deserved a couple of goals today, didn't he, to be honest? He can't miss this one though. 20 metres out, directly in front, bang. Straight over the goal umpire's head it goes. 9 goals on the board now to the Sharks. It's back to a 22-point ball game.
Yeah, fellas, my microphone was off before. I actually said little tiny chance, but no one heard me.
Little tiny chance. How small is it then? It's little and tiny.
Sounds like we're getting towards innuendo, and I just don't want to go there.
Gav wanted to say it, then pulled himself up.
So as we peter out, let's go boundary side for some more proper comment.
Yeah, look, it's cleared up down here. We're pretty glad for that. Weather's finally decided to be a bit merciful. Cheers.
So Saravola kicks it from the centre clearance, long ball inside 50. Doncaster gets some numbers back. Shalakis picks it up. He dodges the pack like they're just standing still. I think they were actually. Beautiful. And now the kick marked, 2 grabs at it, and Gold takes it to the top of the goal square. But Shalakis picked the ball up and let everyone watch him dance as he kicked it around the corner from top of the 50, and Gold was in good position again to take an uncontested mark top of the goal square.
He's been good all day as well. He's been really physical. He's been a bit of an enforcer coming off the square at times. Done some good work defensively, so it'd be a nice reward for him to get his second goal.
He's one of the first players picked every week.
So Gold, I've already put it down in the sheet, but he's delivered. Gold, it's rolled gold for Doncaster East. Their 13th goal. Doncaster East 13-11-89, 28 points in front of the Sharks. Doncaster are 9-7-61, 4th quarter on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Game's opened up a bit this quarter, Tyson, with people just sort of maybe thinking ahead to maybe 5:30 rather than 4:30. So 4 goals to 3 this quarter. So very, very interesting the way it's opened up in the rain.
Well, it's dried up a little bit now. The lights are on. Scoreboard reads a 28-point margin out here at Zerby's. Little kick off the ground by Spencer. Kicked his teammate Marn's finger, and it might be broken. He is in agony as it comes out. Trakulia came out. Jake Summers, he's got 4 Sharks to beat there over the top there. Coughlin scooped upon it. Nicely done there, that time there by Simons, and they're screaming for it, the faithful, to be holding the football, and the umpire doesn't want a bar of that one.
Someone's got to go up to Spencer and say, stop kicking the ball off the ground. It doesn't go anywhere where his teammates know.
I think Zach Clark wants him to stop throwing himself into his ribs too.
High throws it in. Once again, it was a shallow one. Spencer, a little toe poke. That's okay. Simons, it was ripped off him by Clark. That's okay. Santoro was in there, got the handball to Green, whose kick was half touched off the boot. Inside forward 50 it goes. Summers read the play well, got it out. Running after it there is James Appleby. Can he head over the football? Right on his hammer was Coughlin. Appleby tapped it out. The ball's still alive, about 35 metres out from the Doncaster East scoreline. Just dropping it like a hot potato was Whitling. Umpire said it was okay. We'll have a ball up about 35 metres out. 28 points is the margin. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast on the SEN app and 98.1 Radio Eastern. It's Doncaster East. First victory in Premier Division coming right up. There's only about a few minutes to go as Colombo picked the ball up. It's a free kick to Doncaster off the play, though, I would assume.
He's all right.
And it's that player in Marn who's sporting a dislocated finger from that kick.
He's just winded.
He's just winded. We will work it in as much as we can for the rest of time.
It's an in-joke, I reckon, to most of our listeners, but yes.
He'll be listening. He got trapped in Perth for 3 days, old mate.
We had him on at half-time. He was very keen to talk.
Ah, there you go. Spewing, I missed that. As it comes out now, Ramboldi dropped what he probably should have taken, but the handball away, little chip kick into the middle of the ground, and now the Sharks can take off if they want. Kempy just did the turn up towards the half-forward line. Papakonstantinou, the timely fist away that time at the fall of the ball with Moylan. He'll go after it again, Moylan. So too with Whitling. Had support in there from Reynolds, and we will have a ball up 70 metres out from the Doncaster goal lines. 25 minutes tick over. Not long to go here. A little look away by Spencer. Got it away. Pushing the back there, Santoro. The umpire said play on. Kick into the middle of the ground. Have they got one little bit left here? Marn scoops on it. Dumps the ball inside forward 50. Big fist there by Simon White, the captain. Is as good as a kick in the end. Went about 25 metres. Still about 70 out from goal. Fantastic tackle there over the top by Stoneham and rewarded. Summers handball over the top. Here's a go for him. Green back to Summers. And they go inside forward 50. Who wants number 9? Where is he? He just can't move, the big man, as it goes towards the boundary line, and out she goes.
You caught him beautifully there, Beto. Yes, he wanted 9 in his head, but his body said, you're not getting there.
He's obviously demanding to not go off the ground.
Well, he wants 10, doesn't he?
Yeah. As the umpire brings it back into play. Clark straight out of the ruck contest. Here's a go. Can he get it? He's loping behind, but he can't, as it's scooped upon by Coughlin. Handball over the top. Here's Ramboldi, one of Doncaster's best. Kicks it out towards the half-back line, using his body well that time. There was Hendon charging in from the side. Nicely done there by Reynolds. It scoops up now into the middle of the ground, going towards Jimmy Locke, who takes it on the chest. They're looking for their big forward. This way, that would chip it away up towards half forward. Here's Ceravolo. It's beyond his range here. So Aaron Ceravolo is going to kick it towards the Clark direction. Beautiful kick. Beautiful kick. You've got to be kidding me. That's daylight robbery. That was as clean a mark as you can get.
Well, today it's overcast.
Davis has probably got that on camera as well.
No, his camera was pointing the wrong way. Catfish is getting the scenery.
As it comes out, Santoro. Bruce is filthy about this as it comes out. Here's Jimmy Appleby. Jimmy Appleby on the left. Can he squeeze it through? No.
Boundary.
Pushed it to the right-hand side. Through for a minor score. 90 plays 61. 29-point margin out here at Zerby's Reserve. Let's cross down boundary side.
Yeah, Sam Rose just come off for the day, so no, won't be kicking 9, won't be kicking 10. That'll be it for him.
Yes. Now find out what the go is as well, can you guys?
Yeah.
Down there.
Go, just put the microphone to him.
To Rowe or to the umpire about that mark?
Yeah, both. First Rowe and then the umpire. I think the sun was in the umpire's eyes, so...
And that's what Davis was taking the photo of, the sunset.
No one wants to get out of their car to get the footy.
Here we go.
Let's see his kicking style.
Oh, beautiful work.
Just dropped short. We're going to commentate the...
not bad by old mate.
Spectators kicking the ball back.
It's a slippery ball. It's a hard ball to kick.
It's not bad. I thought he did a good job.
He got it spinning right. Half the battle today.
Kempy just takes it out of the goal square now for Doncaster, and he'll kick as long as he can to the centre circle of Zerby's Reserve. Big kick by Kempy. He's actually got a big boot on him. Now underneath it is Hoverton, and he's been enveloped, and it's now a ball up, back of the square. We'll go down to, we'll keep the play, and then we'll go boundary side in a moment as the big pack of players around it. Hand pass spills out towards Kempy. And then the tackle applied, but missed by Kent, running out of it, and goes Locke. Locke loads up from Brisbane, and he puts it through. Lights are on here at Zerby's Reserve, and that's lights out for Doncaster. Doncaster East 14-12-96, leading by 35 points over Doncaster 9-7-61. 29 minutes gone, fourth term.
Let's cross down boundary side and find out what the go is with Sam Rowe.
Yeah, so he's done for the day. I talked to the team manager and he just said soreness, which I find pretty cagey, but
he's going to be out for general soreness for about 5 weeks.
I think, is it a bye coming up for Doncaster East? I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head. They've definitely got one in the coming weeks, so if he might have to tough it out for 1 more week, Sam.
Soreness.
I get soreness. Don't you get soreness, Ben? I usually don't get soreness after kicking 8, though.
He throws it up. Locke got the handball over the top here. Sassy Boy linking up well with Whitling. Whitling on the left. Whitling goes towards the forward pocket. It was a shank of a kick. Out of bounds it goes. You go back and tell him that BWS said you're a liar and what's really the matter with him. Because that's just rubbish. We're going to find out anyway as the umpire throws the ball back in. Spencer comes out now. Whitling around the body. Kicks it to the top of the goal square. Underneath it. Beautifully done. Fantastic mark by Liam Franklin, who takes it just inside play by Dan Beard, telling Mackenzie to get back on his mark. What sort of shot are we packing in here? Are we going the boo na na?
Yeah, that's what he's going. Check side.
Going the boo na na. Got it. Beautiful goal. Icing on the cake, Styles, that is. Franklin gets his second of the afternoon, and Doncaster East hit the ton. 15 goals, 12, 102. Doncaster 9-7-61.
Well, that might just be goal of the day too, to make it a clean sweep for the Lions, I reckon. Nice little check side there, Tyson. He would have practiced that one at training a lot, and he's got a nice flow there, does young Nathan Franklin.
He does. I was actually looking at the reserves at the start of the game, thinking there were more mullets out there, but at least there's one on the team, and a good one at that. Nice little goal to finish the day with.
Exactly. So probably getting the win they deserve. I think this is the margin. It's probably a fair resemblance of what happened in the game, Gav.
Yeah, it does resemble a good win for Doncaster East. We should point that out, not Doncaster Central.
Norwood win by 25 points.
So it's moved forward to Whitling as they win another centre clearance, do Doncaster East, and the Lions go into the forward pocket. It's now pinging around, the hand pass gets applied deep in the defence. Locke picks it up from the centre, centering ball, he gets it to Reynolds. De Cesare. Is that what we're meant to say, De Cesare, aren't we?
Yeah, that was what he asked for. So Norwood defeating Bourne by 26 points.
When did he ask for it?
We asked him pre-game.
Oh, perfect. Thanks for the heads up.
Well,
if you were here.
Oh, I was here.
Oh, yeah.
I was here.
Vermont defeating Noble as well by 2 goals 6.
De Cesare from 40 metres out. He leans back and it's just gone. It's snuck in.
He's got it.
The goal umpire's just given me a fake. He's just pumped himself out to the left, did a dummy, and then comes back to the middle and signals a goal for De Cesare.
I want to know, Gav, how the guys behind us here on centre wing knew that went through.
Well, the goal umpire watched it go over his head.
But he also moved.
Yeah, but he was between the goals.
He skittled a long way away. But it's still a goal for Doncaster East. It's in the book. It's Doncaster East 16-12, 108. Now a 47-point margin over the local rivals, Doncaster 9-7-61.
Alfie might have forgotten to press the siren out here. It's 32 and a half minutes as it comes out now, as it picked up by Kempy up towards the half forward line. Nicely done there by Appleby. Handball over the top. There might be enough time for another one. Franklin gets it away to Whitling. Whitling around the body to the top of the goal square. No, dropping what he should have taken there was Mackenzie. He's going to sit on it as well. He might. Oh, umpire said he's okay.
He felt sorry for
was
him.
right there. Dan Beard just going, calm the farm, boys. I'm taking control. Comes out now. Siren sounds, and Doncaster East have their first victory in Premier Division football in the Eastern Football Netball League. Congratulations to the Lions today. They are big winners in the end. 16 goals, 12, 108 to Doncaster 9-7-61. 8 goals to the big forward Sam Rowe, who went off deep into time on in this final term with a leg soreness. We'll find out more about that one. But I tell you what, it's Doncaster East. They played 2 games at home now. They went down in last week by the narrowest of margins in the last few minutes, and this week they've answered the challenge and they've come back and they've got a fantastic victory on the board in the way of 8 goals.
Yeah, absolutely, and they deserved every bit of it from the first quarter all the way through to the final siren. They've been on top of the game. They've definitely controlled the stoppages. They were more physical and contested in the contest. There was probably a lapse maybe in that second quarter where Doncaster upped the pressure, Tyson, and there was a few ill-disciplined moments from the Lions, but outside of that, they absolutely deserved their 8-goal win.
100%. Ever since they came back from half-time, it was interesting just to see how much the Lions dominated the play. Interesting. I don't know what Doncaster were thinking when they came out so late to the game. It seemed silly. It's cold. It's wet. They came out with 30 seconds before the bell rang. Can't be too much of an advantage leaving it so late to come out and warm those legs up, I can't imagine.
Yeah, well, it's just a young team, I think. That's what Doncaster showed, especially, like I said, with the outs of Anarchis and Schimmelbusch just before the first bounce. You know, their average games played would have dropped a lot, and that definitely affected them out there. And we're going to go boundary side.
Yeah, just down here with Steve. Great win today. Really thought you dominated throughout the game and then finally got the result, especially in that start of the third quarter. Do you reckon that was the turning point in the game, getting back on track and reward for the scoreboard?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we thought we dominated play probably all the way through the first half. And like I said, at 3-quarter time, we just had to clean a few areas up, and we were able to do that in the third quarter. Just a few discipline things as well, which we've still got to put some work into. But our ball movement was better. We were overusing it a little bit in that second quarter, but then we sort of went kick-handball ratio was a lot better in the third. Got us a few more goals, and then obviously the last quarter came. We just had to adapt and move with the weather as well, and play those conditions. And I think Doncaster probably played it a bit better in the start of that last quarter. But then once we started playing that sort of wet weather footy and just surged the ball forward, we started really getting on top, and our forwards were in front and playing well, and our on-ballers were doing the job in the middle too, which was really pleasing.
And obviously our row had a really good game up forward with 8, even with soreness. But I thought also just the way that you were able to isolate him one-on-one in the forward half, that was really helped him out since he wasn't able to run at full capacity. Was that a plan that happened, or was that sort of just the way it played out?
I sort of forced into that really. It was, I think we would have all seen him walk off at the end of the first quarter with what he thought was going to be done for the game, but he was able to put himself in good positions and sort of dig deep, I suppose, and say, look, he'll just give us a target forward. As you said, we're able to isolate him, get it in nice and deep, because he's very strong, so we're able to do that and just hopefully get the crummers around him. But yeah, he's going to give a lot of people a lot of headaches if he can get in those one-on-one contested situations.
Thanks for your time. Congratulations. Enjoy the win.
Cheers, thanks, guys.
Well done down there, Ryan Long, doing beautifully in just his third game. Gavin, him and Jared Beanland, well, very well done on his media team debut, and I'm sure the Lions will definitely enjoy that win, and we'll get the song very shortly. Just a couple of thoughts on the game, guys, while we're waiting for that song.
I think Doncaster's application was spot on. I don't think they got enough players around. Yeah. They waited for the ball to spill out, but then they let themselves down on the spread. If you're not connecting, how can you score?
I think we've got that song. That's it. That's the first time that song has been sung in the Premier Division. I was expecting more gusto, but I do enjoy their build-up. I like the rhythmical build-up there.
That's Foot Trot Flats by New Zealand. Yeah, Slice of Heaven.
Slice of Heaven. There you go. Slice of Heaven.
Dave Dobbin.
Yeah, Dave Dobbin. That's what it was.
And look at Damo. Damo back in the studio, just popping down with. It is brilliantly well done there by the Lions, and what a win it was, led by Sam Rose, 8 goals. And as Steve Buckle said, he's definitely going to give people headaches. But the question is, I'd like to know how bad that soreness, which we think is a bit of a hammy tweak, actually is. He was grabbing above that left glute late in the last quarter, so it might even be just a hip flip, so maybe an impact injury. But if he's going to be that good standing in the goal square, you may as well keep him out there.
Yeah, if there's anything serious, you can't imagine him staying on, can you?
And he would know his body. He's been in the professional sphere long enough to know his body and know those sort of injuries.
Yeah, it's a good point.
The thing is don't underplay that Donny East around the ball, they're beasts. They actually get the ball.
They're very physical.
Their only problem is the effort to get the ball means that their skills aren't as clean as the top flight sides.
Yeah.
But getting the ball is half the battle.
I think they're going to be very strong here. We know they've got powerful forwards. Their defence looks good now with Tom Gordon providing yet another marking defender who most of the time has good foot skills. Their midfield core is very good at the coalface, which means on a ground like this where it's quite, it's not the biggest ground, they're going to be okay. But like you said, their foot skills are a key area they need to focus on when they're going on those bigger grounds, because when they play sides that are going to be able to set up defensively behind the ball on a big ground and they turn it over, bang, it's going the other way. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do it.
And also, I like their transition. They do en masse run behind the ball when they don't have it. So they've got the basics. They're well drilled. They know they have to get numbers around it, and they can spread well. I just worry when they get into the open, are they hitting up their leading targets? It worked better when they just put it on top of Sam Rowe's head.
Yeah, exactly. And look, and especially on a ground like this, they did it well. They know how to play it. But also, they've been building for this for years, haven't they, Gav and Tice? Like 2 flags in a row, then a year off. They've actually been building at this for 3 years. They were close as well in 2017. They lost to Knox. So it's really been 4 years where they've thought they're ready to go up.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's been good for them or bad for them, how would that side have gone in 2019? But we don't know. But yeah, they've been building towards this for a long time, so we knew they weren't going to let their opportunity slip.
They got the chance. Not many clubs get the chance in Division 1 to win back-to-back premierships.
And it creates that winning culture.
Correct. And it makes them stronger, and they were ready. They were ready last year, and they actually wanted to appeal any decision that was being made. They wanted to play Premier Division last year.
Yeah, Pete Sowsey was very active. He was pushing any form of footy in 2020. And it's what's more impressive, Tyson, is actually the way they've developed their relationship with Beverly Hills to strengthen that, and they've got an under-19 side up, although it's not playing in the Premier Division. At least they've got now a steady flow. They're not just relying on outside recruits.
Before the game, I mentioned that Baldwin is a strong team, in my opinion, based on the fact that so many players have been there for such a long time that you start to develop that trust element of the game. I think it's similar. I recognise quite a few players out here, even from 2019, that had been here for a little while. I noticed there was a couple of boys, Jack Gold, I think, playing in the seconds today, who looked as though, I think he was playing off the wing, playing a really good game. I got the right team. Sorry, I've got myself on a little tangle there. He looked as though he's almost ready to step up as well. So they've got depth, they've got confidence, they've got the boys that have been around for a while. So they looked like it was a seamless transition in the second round of the 2021 season.
I think they've got 25 to 26 players that can compete at the level easily. It'll be interesting, with Tom Appleby out. That means they'll have to call up one of those. Sam Rowe, let's see how it goes. They might push him to get to the bye or give him 2 weeks off. It'll be interesting to see how they go if they get a raft of injuries, but that happens with every club. I don't think there's many clubs in this competition that could have 5 to 10 injuries and still be fine.
Phelan, is he?
I think he was an out today, so he might have been injured as well. So they might have already had a couple of injuries, and a lot of clubs have handled that, the soft tissue injuries, due to the fact that it's different playing a competitive game. You can play as many practice games as you want, but it's not the same as going 100% for 4 points.
Yeah, a little takeaway for the Sharks as well. I don't know if the scoreboard reflects what I'm about to say, but the second quarter they had a little purple patch for about 10 or 15 minutes where I thought, hang on a second, things could turn around here. I think going away, you can. It's a little positive for them to look at that and think, okay, well, we've got that. If we can tie that together for a little bit longer, use the ball a bit more effectively, maybe develop a little more composure under the pressure that they were experiencing, it can only be a plus.
Yeah, I think the Sharks showed signs in bits, but as I said, they're just not putting together a 4-quarter performance. And look, you look at the AFL for context and maybe an example. There are plenty of sides in the bottom 6 of the AFL that for quarters, Hawthorn, for example, last week matched Melbourne for 3 quarters, fell away. Doncaster Doncaster did that today. They matched Doncaster East in the second half of the first quarter. They probably were better than them in the second quarter, and then the third quarter they were nowhere, and then the fourth quarter was actually quite even till the end. So 1 quarter and a half they fell away, and it's an 8-goal difference. So that's Doncaster. They're just going to have to. Their opportunities are going to come against sides like Berwick, North Ringwood, Noble Park, and they're going to have to take them because they look like they're not going to be able to pinch points from those top 6 sides.
For me, the Doncaster's strengths stand out because physically they have got a tall ruckman.
And Jake Spencer was very good. Zach Clark came in after dominating against Blackburn, and Spencer, I think, won the day.
Yeah, but at ground level, they're solid individuals who are...
but they haven't got that synergy yet that Doncaster East have that you mentioned.
But they have, outside of them, they don't have outside runners riding shotgun with them. So, and if they're not going to have that, then can they play tempo? Well, clearly they don't have the skillful players around the ball getters to slow a game down. Exactly. And going forward, the hit-up targets, what have they got? So they've got some really good assets, but they've got some deep flaws as well, Doncaster. And when you take out their best ball winner and their premier defender out of the lineup, they're going to be called out today.
That's another good point. You put Schimmelbusch in, he might have played on row. Yeah. So that then frees up Mackenzie to either stay as a forward target or to play on another forward. And then you put a Narcus in, that might mean, Marn rests forward more and becomes another marking target because he's so strong, or Monks might have been able to play further forward. So that's a good point, Gav, that they're not at their full strength. But look, there's good signs there. I don't think it's panic stations. You can see why they're pretty bullish on Stewie Kemperman. He knows what he's doing. He's won flags at Berwick, and he's obviously doing a fairly decent job at the moment. But yeah, Doncaster is a great day for them. It looks like Ben Warren-Smith's got the boundary riders down there with Sam Rowe, and we're going to have a chat to the man who booted 8 majors on one leg today.
Awesome, yes, we've got Sam Rowe down here in a really strong performance against the Crosstown rivals. 8 goals, fantastic win. How are you feeling about that?
It was a great win, obviously, for the club, our first win in Premier Division, so it's a really good day for everyone, and we'll certainly celebrate that one.
Yeah, so you had a lot of isolation down forward. Do you reckon that's a strategy that you will employ moving forward throughout the season?
Look, potentially. It was probably because I tweaked my hammy in the first quarter, so I couldn't really get moving at all, so... I said to the coaches, if I can just sit in the goal square and give a contest, I'll do that and see how it goes. And a lot of the balls fell my way, and probably suits me in a sense just to be able to contest. So, look, we'll certainly try to isolate all our forwards when we can and see how that goes for us.
Yeah, and it went pretty well today. We've got a couple of questions for you from the box, so I'll just hand you over to them.
Sam, you probably can't see us, mate. You're facing the wrong way. Don't stress about that, mate. We got you now. You can just pitch over the edge. Well done with the 8 goals today, mate. You spoke about the slight twing in your hammy. Have you done them before? Did you know what it was straight away?
No, I've never done the soft tissue, so I was a little bit worried. It was tight and it's a bit sore, so I'll see how it goes for next week, but it was nice to be able to still get on the end of a few for sure.
Yeah, Sammy, Tyson Popplestone up here in the box, mate. Well done, good game. 8 goals. I did hear the boys talking a lot of the game. There's your good looking face. You've just turned to the camera.
Right. Yeah. They were pointing the other way, sorry.
No, you're looking good, mate. I'm glad you're looking this way. The talk was you did twing your hammy a little bit in that first quarter. I'm not convinced. I want to know how much of that story you made up yourself, just so you could take a little bit of pressure off, go forward, kick 8 more.
Well, I did say to Bucksy, I'm going to be doing my hammy every week in the first quarter. Just sit in the goal square. I didn't mind it.
Fantastic, mate. Congratulations.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, guys.
And Sam, you got Mackenzie moved on to you, and it seemed the logical choice because unfortunately the young Moylan was probably too thin for you. You were pushing him off there for the marks, but it seemed like Mackenzie did what he needed to do. He tried to get into you in the legs. Did that upset you? Is that why you wanted to have a chat to him after one of your marks?
I gave him a polite chat because he was a little bit cheap in the couple of minutes before that and trying to lip me. So I was very happy that I took one directly straight after that and let him know about it for sure.
And what has been your biggest bag in football? Because do you remember having such a day previously?
Yeah, no, I can't remember. Maybe in my Sandford days I might have kicked 5 or 6. I can't remember exactly, honestly. But no, this is my PB, so it was good fun.
Well done, Sam. PB in the Lions' first ever win in Premier Division, mate. I'm sure you'll enjoy a couple of frosty ones tonight, and rest up that hammy though.
No worries. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Well done to Sam Rowe there, ex-Carlton, ex-St Kilda. and now a Doncaster Lions fan favourite with 8 goals on one leg. Beautiful stuff. We're running out of time here. It's been a pretty action-packed day down here at Zerby's Reserve in the rain. I'm not sure if we want to quickly run through who we think should get player of the day. Bruce is shaking his head maybe very quickly. Tyson, I've got Sam Rowe. I think we're Sam Rowe universally. Well done. Well done there. First of all, to Lee Green from EFNL Media. Beautiful stuff. Not only pre-game with the Anzac Day ceremony, but also his camera work in the rain, and his son Lachlan. Ben Warren Smith popping in the nick of time and doing a great job. Great call as always with his inside knowledge, and also great work getting Sammy Rowe out of there. Jared and Ryan in his 3rd game. Jared in his 1st game with us. Beautiful stuff. Good witty stuff down on the boundary line. They'll just have to get used to Gav and my humour, and then they'll be right. And of course, Tyson, welcome back into the hot seat, mate, after a couple of weeks off.
Very good to be here with you fellas. Thanks for having me.
And Gav, of course. Oh, beautiful stuff. The voice should be a bit better now. You're into form now.
Yep, I've just got to realise what's going on.
Exactly right. So we've just got 15 seconds left. Ben Warren Smith's I think he's going to celebrate this Lions victory. 10 seconds to go here at EFNL Game Day from Zerby's Reserve. It's the Doncaster East Lions getting their first win in EFNL history by 47 points.
Thanks, guys. Perfect.
Yeah, they said they were